train will help us be able to compete better.
Won a state title in '91, beat Burnett. I also, the same year you won a state title at Groesbeck, a former program of yours, Killeen, won that emotional title when they had the tragedy outside of Fort Hood. Did you even think that at the time?
Well, I remember that because we lived down here, but we watched the news, and that was a horrendous thing. But
Welcome to SicEm365 Radio.
Go ahead and make it. And then we got the Wednesday walkthrough.
SicEm365 Radio is presented by IdealMRI.com. High-quality MRIs for $497 or less. IdealMRI.com. Your health is important, so is your budget.
The Kansas City Royals select Nick Lofton, a shortstop from Baylor University.
The 3 o'clock hour is sponsored by Waco Custom Marketplace. Meats, sweets, Texas treats, and a cut above the rest. 425 Lake Air Drive, Waco.
Start from their own 28. Here's Charlie Brewer with time. He'll take a shot down the field. Denzel Mims is there, and he's got it. What a throw and catch.
Have you downloaded the SicEm365 Radio app? Do it today on the App Store and Google Play. Here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
There is golf, live, professional PGA Tour golf at the Colonial, the Charles Schwab Challenge in Fort Worth, just maybe a 90-minute drive up I-35 from where we reside with our temporary studio in Waco, Texas. Justin Rose, 7 under par. Some of the big names on the course, some of the big names playing well, some of them trying to scratching, clawing, trying to, just be relevant for round 2 tomorrow. There is golf. The PGA Tour is back. It's part of that process of things growing, yet again, like early spring when it comes to your front yard with grass. So we'll get into that. We'll have a leaderboard update a couple of different times today. And Art Strickland, PGA Tour columnist, will join us today at 5 o'clock. Now, a couple of other notes. Around the world, last night, the Major League Baseball amateur draft, Nick Lofton went in that second little phase of the first round. Goes to the Kansas City Royals. We will hear from him in about 10 minutes. He had a media session today thanks to Rachel Caton. We'll hear part of Nick Lofton's media session today. Paul Catalina of SicEm365 was a part of that for us. Also, Jake Mangum. He was an All-American player at Mississippi State. The reason I know Jake, one, he's one of the all-time hits leaders in college baseball history. He plays for the Mets. But Kevin Van Sal from Crawford, his son played on that Mississippi State team. And I'll never forget, I was at a trip up in Hot Springs Village, Arkansas with Kevin, and he told me about Jake. Jake's going to join us. They're like, why him? Well, the Rangers selected his former teammate at Mississippi State in the first round, a second baseman, Paul.
Yeah, it's weird to watch the draft analysis of the MLB because there's so many different things. But, I saw people amazed that Nick Lofton wasn't drafted earlier. I saw people confused as to why the Rangers made the pick that they did instead of maybe Nick Lofton. But because of what they did and how they negotiate and how they slot and all that stuff. So, Rangers selected a guy from Mississippi State. Nick Lofton's on his way to the Royals. He was super excited today. I can tell you, just grinning from ear to ear the whole time.
Craig, will you also, one of you guys look up Major League Baseball, the draft tracker, because Connor Phillips from McLennan Community College will be someone who's going to be, his name could be called today. Had that conversation with Mitch Thompson, a couple of days ago. And so when that thing resumes, and I think it's pretty much about to start, I believe they have rounds 2 through 5, and that's all they have this year. That used to go into the 30 or 40 rounds or so, the baseball amateur draft. Also, the Big 12, we knew this. There would be no true media days in Frisco or in Arlington like there have been before, or in downtown Dallas, or even the Omni on the north side of Dallas. Well, it's a virtual media day. We knew it was going to be, and now the date's July 20th and 21st. And so basically, all of the teams will be set up just like if there was in person, but it will be a virtual Big 12 Media Days. Baylor will be on Tuesday, July 21st. The teams on Monday, the 20th, KU, TCU, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma, and everybody else on Tuesday.
Did they ever shuffle Baylor from Tuesday? It's been like 5 years straight there on Tuesday.
Yeah, they were on Tuesday quite a bit. And for us, I think there was a couple of different times. We've been to almost 10 of them. This will be the first time we're not in attendance since 2011 with my first year. And 2010. It was at the Omni, wasn't it, Paul?
Yeah.
At the Omni up in the Galleria.
No, it was the Westin Galleria.
The Westin Galleria. That's where it was. But yeah, they're on Tuesday. And it's interesting. That's kind of for us the start of football season. We go to that couple of days, enjoy, get to see guys we hadn't seen maybe in a while, and then turn around about a week or so later, go to Cowboys training camp.
Yeah, I've looked at the schedule. I think it's going to be a headache where it just says media Q&A, which means there could be 100 people on a Zoom, which, I'd bang I don't know if that's going to be that effective. So I wonder if they would maybe break it up for us like they used to, where you just, that's what I would do. If we're going to do it all day,
you should have, that's the easy way to do. But as you know, and we've seen this before, that you have Sirius XM and Fox and ESPN, ABC, they're going to have their own chunk. Mm-hmm. Where Dave Aranda or Tom Herman or Gary Patterson will be, and their players will go through like the car washes you do at ESPN. Yeah. And then there was a setup, finally, after we fought for it long enough and people listened to us, there was about an hour early on and maybe even a sliver right around lunch or so where they could come by and sit down and do a show on a radio station.
Yeah, there was one year, a couple years in a row, they didn't even put radio on the list.
Well, until we finally made ourselves very much vocal and heard. But so yeah, that'll be interesting.
I mean, Big 12 Media Days is cool for what it is. It wasn't my favorite event. The first couple of years was really cool because I'd never experienced that before, so it was all brand new. But, at the last couple of years, I can take it or leave it, quite frankly. Found that I've got way more information in media sessions after that when it was smaller groups. Like last year, for example, one of the reasons why I didn't like it was because it just dragged on so long. And then they'd have those players out there, and then you might have a Sam Tecklenburg who's getting questions for about 15 minutes. But then he's sitting there by himself for like 45 minutes until the time limit runs out. And I thought that was kind of silly. But, I mean, it was cool for what it was. It's not something I'm going to miss, honestly. But, I wasn't like a Paul or somebody who's, reuniting with people from all over the country and going out and drinking and all that. That's not my bag. So, and then let's be honest, that's why most media people like it. It's not because of the access or anything. So that wasn't my cup of tea, or that's not my bag. So that's not really a pull for me. So this will be, able to get the questions in, however they end up doing it via Zoom, and still get the information that we need. The only drawback is, for example, last year we had like the, sit down with Matt Rule for, 20 minutes or whatever. And we won't have that with a Dave Aranda this time around. Or, randomly, I don't think Tom Herman ever dropped by the table, or Lincoln Riley for that matter. But, on occasion a coach would, like a Les Miles or something.
It was cool last year because I really
Matt
enjoyed
Wells
Ellinger.
And Neil Brown,
Yeah, we did. But I enjoyed it because it allowed us to have something different after a sluggish summer of pretty much, and it was and we were going to, because of David Kay and Taylor Bryan, I look forward to the last 4 years like never before because we had Baylor come to us and we knew we were going to get the coach or John, whoever was on at the time, whether it's Craig and your show or it was us.
Well, don't get me wrong. I don't hate the event. It's just I'm not like that bummed out about this year. We're not having it. It's not something that crushes me.
Craig did kind of hit the nail on the head. Most people go there because it's reporter summer camp.
Yes, exactly.
You get to.
It's kind of a reunion. When you have kind of a family reunion.
When you see the media start to drift off at about 3:30, and they all end up at the wet bar, and they're doing that.
all day long you're doing arts and crafts and all these other things.
Basically.
And then once dinner time, everybody gets to hang out and,
It was cool, though, being in AT&T Stadium and having that setting the last couple of years. Being out there on the field where the Cowboys play and so many other great games are played. That was a pretty neat setup, and the Star in Frisco was a cool setup as well. So, I'm not as down on it as I probably sound. It's cool, and, I'm sure we'll get back to that hopefully next summer.
And we'll have some of our own interviews that day. We'll that's already in the process of being done. And we'll probably we'll reach out to some of the SIDs like we've done before, and perhaps one of them or a coach or two, we could even possibly get something ahead of time. If we're planning correctly, we will do that. Now, we'll update the Colonial on occasion, the Charles Schwab Challenge. This is a big deal, guys.
Oh, yeah.
This is the first. Now, there's been UFC. The NBA is still kind of figuring it out, but they're going to come back. Baseball still figuring it. The NFL is still down the road. College football down the road. I mean, there's players on campus, athletes on campus, high school, college, whatever. But this is live. Now, there's nobody there.
I was kind of
remember how thirsty we were for the Mickelson, Tiger, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or even the McIlroy. Wasn't it Justin? Who was it? It was Rory McIlroy and whoever else in their little that. I mean, it was live. We don't know if he's gonna hit the ball in the water, the green, or at what.
I was surprised golf wasn't the first one back after NASCAR because, again, outside of the time that you're both on the tee and the green, you are well up 6 feet apart.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and even then, it's easy for if the three of us were playing golf right now, we could stay 6 feet apart the whole time, no problem. Just one person goes up to the tee at a time. You either walk separately or take separate carts. And
no, it's
easy,
and it's different because these are the elite golfers. Tiger's not there, and of course that's a huge name. But there's Koepka, and there's McIlroy, and there's Mickelson, and there's Fowler, and there's Thomas. And I think it's a big deal.
I wonder if Tiger will ever come back to this one.
The Colonial,
yeah.
It doesn't fit his game.
No,
it's a tight course. It's a tough course, but the leaderboard. Just a couple of things. Rose is 7 under. Jonathan Vegas, 6 under, along with Abraham Answer. DeChambeau, 5 under. These are guys that are done. Let me see. Let's see here. A couple other guys. Let me see. I'm going to go down a little bit. Justin Thomas is 9 under. He just made the turn at 9. Patrick Reed's done for the day, 2 under. Bubba Watson, 2 under through 9. Brooks Koepka, John Rahm is they're 2 under as they head to number 9. So that's going. Jordan Spieth promptly, Mickelson 1 under for the day. Jordan Spieth promptly double bogeyed number 1. Ricky Fowler, Rory McIlroy both 1 under. And I'm looking for Spieth. Jimmy Walker is even. And where's Spieth? Spieth is even through 9, but he double bogeyed, so that means he made a couple of strokes back. So and we're not going to go over every single score, but it's the first tournament.
Kevin Na is last year's champion.
Since they shut down the Players' Championship in Ponte Vedra, remember? When they were into that first round.
Yeah, Kevin Na won the event last year. He's 2 over for the day.
So think about this. The last time they played, Matsuyama was really low at the Players' Championship at Ponte Vedra, one of the great tournaments, one of the most probably lucrative a tournament other than the last one. And the next day they shut it down. That was when Craig and his show were in Kansas City.
Yeah.
That was the same weekend.
For
12 hours?
16 hours?
I was there first 27 hours. 27 hours, yeah. That was a weird day. So I was there for 27 hours. The trip that I will always remember for sure because of just what it all led to. I mean, that was like, we've already talked about it before. I mean, I was kind of nervous traveling given the uncertainty of Corona then, and it was kind of first hitting then. And being in an airport, all the people that were converging on Kansas City from all over the country. So I was being mindful. I'm a germaphobe anyways. I was just being mindful about it. But then that one night that I was there, is when the NBA shut down and Rudy Gobert tested positive. And then it was, a show the next day and then getting the heck on out of Dodge.
Yeah. All right. When we come back, Nick Lofton drafted yesterday in that extra little bubble of 7 picks by the Kansas City Royals. We'll hear from him. Paul Catalina was a part of that media session, the Zoom session today, thanks to Rachel Caton from Baylor Athletics. And then at 3:30, Jake Mangum, who played with the Rangers' first-round pick with the Royals, with Mississippi State. He'll join us. And also, there's a minor leaguer like we have with Kramer Robertson, whose season's been shut down. This guy was a phenomenal talent at Mississippi State. We'll have him today at 3:30. High school football, we check in with Mark Fannin, new head coach from Franklin, replacing the legend of Mike Hedrick, along with Max Olson, Mickey Spagnola, Art Strickland. This is SicEm365 Radio. Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. And order 30-pound bags of live crawfish by noon on Thursday and pick up on Friday to enjoy the weekend. Live crawfish available right now. And Waco Custom Marketplace doors are open for business Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. And crawfish boil boxes available as well. Make your order for live crawfish by noon on Thursday. Pick up on Friday for the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh kolaches, cinnamon rolls, and baked bread daily. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, and house-cured and smoked bacon. Spices, seasonings, soup mixes, charcoal, and lighter fluid. Waco Custom Marketplace, doors open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5, 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, hot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Ram, a legend of loyalty. Alan Samuels, legendary customer loyalty. Now bringing you special Ram pricing to kick off summer. Pick the perfect Ram 1500 regular cab with special incentives, including $500 additional first responder bonus cash. Now just $22,990. Or pick up a loaded up new Ram 2500 HD Limited 4x4, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Now with up to $12,000 in savings. Drive forward. Ram from Alan Samuels.
In great times or tough times, you always feel better working with someone who's there for you. When it comes to great banking, people here count on the First National Bank of Central Texas, here to help you, your family, and your business. Personal banking via phone, desktop, tablet, and drive-through. And business banking tailored for all situations, including yours. Amazing tomorrows from the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is SicEm365 Radio. This segment on Baylor Athletics on SicEm365 Radio is brought to you by Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac, located at the Imperial Drive exit off Loop 340 in Waco. Proud supporters of all Baylor Athletics.
All right, we'll hear from Jake Mangum, who's now part of the Mets organization, minor leaguer. There's no minor league season this year, but he played with the Rangers' first-round pick last night. Justin Foscue, the second baseman from Mississippi State. Jake will join us at 3:30 and give us a minor league baseball player's perspective like we heard a couple of weeks ago from Kramer Robertson. But last night, great news. Baylor, well, Nick Lofton. We knew he would go. It was almost positive, right? And then all of a sudden they went through that first real round, and his name had not been called. But it didn't take long as he's drafted by the Kansas City Royals. And earlier today, Paul Catalina, a part of a Zoom media session with the Baylor infielder.
Answer. So we'll start with Bryce Cherry. Bryce, got the first question here.
Nice lid, Nick.
Thanks, Bryce.
Looking good. Congrats.
Thank you.
Take us through last night a little bit and what that call was like. What were you feeling? And were there any nerves as the round played out?
Man, I'm going to be honest, Bryce. I was nervous before the draft, a couple days before the draft. a week before the draft. And honestly, when I got my name called, it was honest. Like, I can't really even put it into words how great of a feeling it was, especially with all the people that were around me, my coaches, my family, friends, girlfriend, everybody who has been an impact on my life, on my career, was around me to experience this moment with me. And it was so surreal. And I'm so excited to be a Royal, and I'm ready to go out there and play again. So.
All right, next question from Matt Roberts.
Hey, Nick. First off, congrats. Exciting times. Kind of interesting. Last year, Shea got drafted with Braden from A&M. You got drafted with Asa. I mean, y'all played on Team USA. What have your interactions been like with him, and kind of how unique is that to be drafted with somebody from this part of the world with you?
Yeah, no, Asa and I were roommates this summer. So I got to room with him in Japan, and he's a great dude. I'm excited for him and excited for the Kansas City Royals organization. They had two of the best players in this draft for sure. Excited to be a part of it and ready to get to work with him. He's a great dude, one hell of a pitcher for sure. So excited for him and excited to see what Kansas City Royals organization can do now.
Next question from Paul Catalina.
Yeah, Nick, so you didn't have to wait all that long to get drafted, but I imagine it feels pretty long when you're sitting in it. Did you pace? What did you do? How did you deal with the one after the other watching them come off the board?
Well, I'd actually get up every now and then to go get some water, walk around. Of course, picks were going a little bit slower than normal, so I remember my advisor, Ruben, kind of just told me, hey, you don't have to sit on the couch and glue yourself to the couch the whole time. Get up, move around, do what you got to do, go to the bathroom. So basically I would just get up, move around, go outside, get some fresh air, and come back in and keep waiting for my name to get called. So.
Next question from Kevin Longquist.
Nick, take us through the process of the organizations that you felt like you were having the most intense discussions with, maybe in the last, 72 hours to a week, to where it really started to lean heavy toward the Royals, and then obviously culminating with the last night's selection by the Royals.
Yeah, no, the Royals were actually one of the biggest ones who were really interested prior to the draft. Zoom meetings with their GM, scouting director, text messages, and they're the most genuine people I've ever met. I mean, they cared about me as a person, asked me about my life, trying to get to know me as a person, and in a sense to help them understand who I am as a person as well, and understand who I am as a character and as a baseball player as well. But prior to that, they were really on me early, and they're kind of the biggest ones who were coming after me as far as organizations. But I had a few other interests, but I'm super happy to be a Royal, super excited to be a part of this organization.
So give us a clarification on the Royals. Do they actually see you as a shortstop? Do they want to move you to the outfield? Is everything kind of in play? Because you've got the flexibility to do either. So what's kind of their projected plan? And if there is any kind of minor league season, whether it's going to be this year or next year, where would they foresee you starting in their organization?
I mean, right now, what I see is they pick me up as a shortstop, but of course, I have that versatile nature as my ability to play anywhere on the field, from, you name it, shortstop, second, third, outfield. Shoot, I can even pitch for them. That's one thing I told them. I said, hey, I can do anything. I just want to win. I'll do anything you guys want me to. I can even pitch for you guys if y'all need me to. So right now, they drafted me as a shortstop, and that's where I'm focused right now, is playing is the dirt. So, but like I said, I just want to win, and I'll do whatever it takes to win, regardless of if I'm in the infield or if I'm in the outfield. So,
could you go to an Arizona Fall League? Have they talked to you about that, or or is everything kind of up in the air on this?
Everything's really up in the air. I know the last thing I heard is that they're just trying to figure out what's going to happen with the major league teams, and getting that set up. I mean, that's kind of priority right now is Major League Baseball, trying to get that started. So once they figure something out with that and they get a proposal from the MLB, they'll start worrying about the draft picks and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Next question from Bryce Cherry.
So Kevin kind of stole my question, which is okay because I've got another one. But Nick, you messed up Baylor's graphic because you've shaved now. I don't know if you saw that real sweet goatee that they had. What prompted the razor to come out?
Man, I just wanted something different. The quarantine got me. Just getting really long, and I just want to be clean shaven on TV. So that's kind of the reason why. But yeah, it's all good. It'll probably come back. It'll come back for sure.
Yeah. You talked about it a little bit with Kevin, but what do you feel like is next for you? I mean, in terms of this summer, if there is no minor league season, I mean, you have to obviously still try to stay in shape and work on your game, right?
Yeah. I mean, earlier this morning, I had a interview with John Morris. He asked me the same question. I said, well, it starts today. Today is the day to get better than I was the day before, and start now and preparing for when baseball will start again. So honestly, I'm just going to keep putting in the work every single day with my coaches here in Corpus until they tell me where I have to be and report. But I mean, I can enjoy this moment right now, but it's time to get back to work. And I told him, my goal as a kid and my dream as a kid wasn't to be drafted and play professional baseball. My dream was to play Major League Baseball. So this is just the next step in that process, and I'm super excited about it. So I'm just ready to get back to work.
Next question from Matt Roberts.
And Nick, you talked about it right there. That's an impressive outlook to have. Obviously, with these being weird times, how much comfort do you take in the fact that, this is temporary? I'm working for something much bigger than, just going to, my low A ball team here this summer. It's about something bigger than that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, my dream is to play Major League Baseball, and that's my goal. I want to be the best shortstop, best teammate, best player. So I just got to keep working for that and keep working towards that, and to make the big league club. And like I said, it's always been my dream to play Major League Baseball, and this is just the next step in my journey, and I'm just going to keep working for that. I mean, it's not where I am now, it's where I want to be in the future. And that's just kind of how I put an outlook on basically everything that I do, regardless if it's a day that I struggled at the plate or a day that I struggle on defense. It's not where I am right now. It's where I'm going to be in the future. So
that's Baylor draft pick, Nick Lofton. He's now, at least for now, it's drafted by the Kansas City Royals. What would that feeling? I think in my lifetime, had I been, and I wasn't, an athlete that was good enough to be professional, to me, the coolest would have been a PGA Tour golfer. But to me, that would have been the league. As much as the NFL's powerful, the NBA powerful, to me, it would have blown my mind if I would have ever gotten a call that I was drafted by somebody in Major League Baseball. Maybe my generation as well, because back then baseball was it.
Yeah, to me, it would have been, I love football and baseball pretty much almost equally, and this no baseball during the summer is killing me, but I do think there's something romantic about the journey of baseball where, unless you're, who are the people who've gone straight to the major leagues in my lifetime? I think it's Jim Abbott and Steven Strasburg. And Strasburg might have made a couple of minor league starts, but he wasn't there that long. So most people don't go right to the major leagues.
Without stopping at Boardwalk or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's something about that journey, I think, that's kind of cool and different, and
Yeah, well, a guy that was drafted by the Mets, and I know, Craig, would baseball have been your deal?
I guess so. I didn't give it a ton of thought, but yeah, probably baseball.
When we come back, Jake Mangum, one of the most successful hitters in college baseball history, played at Mississippi State, one of his teammates drafted by the Rangers. He'll be next to kind of give us his perspective from a minor league baseball situation. And who did the Rangers get? This is SicEm365 Radio.
The First National Bank of Central Texas, 5 locations right here at home. Waco, Woodway, Hewitt, China Spring, Martin, Hillsboro. Familiar faces making local decisions, here to help you, your family, and your business. Whether it's great times or tough times, all of us need a bank we can count on. Great people with great technology dedicated to their customers and helping our area grow. Safe banking in person or use their online and mobile apps and convenient drive-through and ATMs at all locations. I want to talk to you about online banking today. They have that, and I was talking to Dan Ingham at the bank just the other day, and he said, hey, are you signed up for online banking? And I realized I wasn't, only because I only live like 3 minutes from the bank, so I don't, it's not a big deal to me. I didn't see I was saving much time. And he said, we have to do it. How easy it is. You can just take a picture of your check. Boom. It's in, front and back, done. The First National Bank of Central Texas. Again, 5 locations here to serve you. Waco, Woodway, Hewitt, China Spring, Mart, and Hillsboro.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Cam Heathcott, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Cam Heathcott, covering Conroe and Houston, 936-756-7717 or cam.heathcott@edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Waco's newest gym, Halo Athletic Center, 5725 Bagby Avenue, right behind Region 12 and across the highway from the Central Texas Marketplace, where motivation, inspiration, and hard work are the driving force. State-of-the-art equipment, indoor and outdoor track, locker rooms, showers, yoga and bar classes by Duality Yoga, Bod Pod potty composition analysis, and registered dietitians, all under one roof, where we rise above. Come join the Halo Athletic Center and be a part of the change, your change.
Do you love Friday Night Lights? Would you like to have a bigger role than just watching the action to ensure the games are played fairly and safely? The Waco football chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, or TASO, can make that happen. The 2020 Texas high school football season is right around the corner, and we need you to be a part of it. There's a shortage of officials across the state in all sports, and you can help. If you love the game and want to be a part of the solution, you can help our local student athletes continue to participate in games they love. Never officiated before? Don't worry. Waco Football Chapter can help and prepare you to make the right call. And right now, Introduction to Football Officiating class is accepting registrations. Make your first grade call today by looking us up and contacting us on Facebook at Waco Football Chapter or at our website, wacofootballchapter.com. Find out more about the Waco Football Chapter of the Texas Association of Sports Officials, or TASO. Go to wacofootballchapter.com.
Ideal MRI is a small family business right here in Central Texas. We're open to support you while lowering the cost of healthcare bills. When you need an MRI, ask your doctor for an Ideal MRI. Visit us at idealmri.com or call us at 833-IDEAL-MRI.
We're fighting hard at Pickup Outfitters in our battle to end truck nudity. But it's not just about putting an outfit on a naked truck, it's about making sure you have the very best customer service. So we offer the Pickup Outfitters Lifetime Installation Guarantee. Over time, sometimes your outfit needs a little tune-up, maybe some tightening, adjusting, whatever. If you outfitted your truck at Pickup Outfitters, that tune-up is absolutely no charge for the remainder of the time you own that truck. We also offer free warranty assistance. If for any reason you need to use your warranty, you just bring it back to us and we take care of it. It just makes sense. I mean, operating without a promise like that would be like offering customer service in the nude. And if you've seen our staff, trust me, you don't want that. So do your part to end truck nudity by outfitting your truck, Jeep, SUV, or van at Pickup Outfitters, 220 Lake Air Drive in Waco, where we promise to serve you fully clothed. Check out our website, createacommotion.com.
This is SicEm365 Radio. The SicEm365 Radio app is sponsored by Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco. Your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
Waiting to hear back from Jake Mangum from the New York Mets, played at Mississippi State. Rangers selected Justin Foscue, the second baseman from Mississippi State. That's a position where they've got, of course, right now, he has survived the onslaught of negative, and he's a frustrating player, Odor.
Yes. He is the definition of it's either fantastic or, dear God, what's going on?
So Foscue, who they drafted, again, this is they also drafted a Texas Tech infielder, third baseman Josh Young, and Davis Wenzel from Baylor. So that's a position they're loading up right now, and that, you wonder exactly. Sometimes these guys, it's like with Nick Lofton. I kept saying infielder, and Craig, you're right. He's a shortstop at Baylor. Where he might play most likely, a lot of times you go right where you were, but they do move people around a little bit.
They've drafted shortstops, the Royals have, in the last two drafts. And they've got Raul Mondesi Jr., that's their shortstop of the future, a guy that everybody really likes. So, he's got a good shot to move around, so we'll see.
So Jake Mangum, if in fact we can't get him, we'll have to move on, because at 3:45 we'll have Mark Fenton, new head coach. He's been a part of Franklin for quite some time, but he's his first-year head coach at the Lions of Franklin High School.
Well, how about 3 first-round picks in the last 2 years for Steve Rodriguez?
Yeah.
With Wenzel, Langoliers, and now Nick Lofton. And they've got some notes I know that they put up on the website about the number of draft picks he's had, and it's a pretty impressive number given how long he's been coaching. Definitely on average, 3-4 guys a year of the 15 or so years. I'm trying to remember exactly what I was reading earlier. But, yeah, he's put a lot of guys in the pros, 3 first-rounders in the last 2 years. It remains to be seen, and I mentioned this on Trust the Podcast with Grayson Grundhafer of SicEm365, which will be dropping sometime today. But I was mentioning that, with Jared Butler and the others from Baylor basketball who have made their decisions, they've got a little while longer before they, have to pull their name out of the hat or not. But you look at the NFL draft and how many guys were drafted there, with Denzel Mims being a high second-round pick. And you look at the WNBA draft, obviously Lauren Cox was a very high pick, and Juicy was selected later on, and they had multiple people. Who else was selected? Juicy and Lauren and
Tay Cooper.
Tay Cooper, yeah. So you had those 3, and then now in baseball you got Nick Lofton. So they've had somebody in pretty much every major professional draft, and probably going to have somebody in the NBA as well. So pretty good year, and could have been better, of course, without the shutdown, but that's for everybody across the board. But a banner year for Baylor Athletics has translated to professional interest as well.
The NFL has now planned or pledged to increase their social justice footprint by pledging $250 million over a 10-year period of time. And to a social justice footprint. Now, what that means is perhaps their logo, their shield, or perhaps getting into communities. I don't know, but that's a note that just came down a minute ago. So we'll try. You want to try Jake one more time, Paul?
Yeah, sure.
I gave him your number as well, but if he's not there, he's not there. But I saw this note. Carolina Panthers, they took down the statue of owner Jerry Richardson, previous owner. He's gone. The team fired around 15 business side employees. They also parted, remember, the Panthers, a day or two ago with a sponsor, a security firm, because of something that one of the CEOs or the CEO may have said during the racial, the rioting and the racial and protest and uproar. So Carolina's, now this appears to be more about the coronavirus right here.
Yeah, and the whole world is getting reshaped employment-wise, for many reasons. But the Panthers, they had to move the Jerry Richardson statue because, the reason he had to sell the team was sexual harassment and racial discrimination that he was accused of and even admitted to. So, that was probably coming, I would think, and then this accelerated it.
All right, so we'll have Mark Fannin of Franklin. Paul, give everybody the 254-339-1122. Thanks to David Sikora I had a piece. I went by and got some mail today, and in my mailbox, numerous gift cards from Chick-fil-A. This is a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich meal or a Chick-fil-A nuggets meal. And I have gift cards thanks to David Sikora, Chick-fil-A on 35 right across from Baylor. And if anyone was set up for the drive-through moment during COVID shutdown, was there anyone set up better than what Chick-fil-A has started with the dual, almost like the dual exhaust system?
No, Chick-fil-A's got the best drive-through in America of any restaurant that I've gone to, fast food-wise. I would say the worst in Waco, I don't think they're going to be a sponsor anytime soon, is the McDonald's right off 35. It is absolutely dreadful. You can have no cars in the parking lot other than employees, be the only car in the drive-thru, and still have to wait a half hour for a meal. It's the worst.
Where's this one at? Is this across from Baylor?
No. It's over by where we used to work, across 35. How do I exactly put it? It's in like the little shopping center area.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know exactly where to say that it is, but that's the worst one. So anyways, I just wanted to throw a little shot at them because they stink every time, and I haven't been back in over a year as a result of it. But Chick-fil-A, on the other hand, I know that they are going to get you in and out pretty quickly.
254-339-1122. Call right now.
Yeah.
And you get a free gift card from Chick-fil-A thanks to David Sikora. It's either a sandwich meal or it's an 8-nugget meal. 254-339-1122. And I'll mail this to you. Again, the phone line brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. 254-339-1122. Paul, go over kind of the little thing that happens here.
So we're paying a robot to talk to people right now. So you're going to call, and a robot's going to talk to you, and you'll say some information to the robot, and then we'll have your information up here on the screen, and then I'll take your call.
All right, 254-339-1122. We have admittedly had to go through a few things to get this thing fixed. 254-339-1122. Would love to hear from you here on SicEm365 Radio. One other note that I saw, Craig, you said, no. Where was it? I thought there was one other note you gave me.
Well, I did look up that Panther story, and the people that were fired, because I hadn't heard what you were talking about, but the 15 employees were late last month let go. They came from the business side, as you mentioned. They were sales and ticketing, so they're obviously not having to work on anything at the moment. There's not really anything concrete to sell at this point, I guess. I guess they're still doing that, but apparently, according to the team, a lot of that was performance-related and part of a larger reorganization. So it sounds like the Panthers are just kind of cleaning up, certain departments and housekeeping a little bit for those who maybe weren't up to snuff, which would be the mark of a Matt Rule organization. If you're not carrying your own weight, then you're probably on your way out, although I know he's not going over the salespeople and determining who is doing their job or not. But, yeah, that's all that seemed to be. Obviously, that's not an organization that's hurting for money in any way, shape, or form, even with the lockdowns, with how wealthy their ownership is. But, we've seen a lot of those cuts around pro sports with salespeople and ticket sales and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how many of these people end up getting their jobs back. We've seen it across media as well. Obviously, we were part of that. So, it's part of the deal with coronavirus and, I think in some ways businesses obviously were forced into having to make some decisions like this. Others decided to handle it in better ways if they could manage to. And then businesses have shut down entirely as a result of this and are never going to come back. So, you got to do what you got to do. But, yeah, this looks like it was just really housekeeping for the Panthers.
Yeah, and I got a text line from Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line from 314. What a wonderful opportunity for baseball to be in the spotlight, and Rob Manfred still finds a way to look like a fool. And I mentioned that, baseball is filled with egos, but their sides, I mean, you're talking about a union that's very strong and united. And they can't get out of their own way sometimes. And then the 314, it's telling that Manfred's experience is a labor lawyer and not a baseball ownership like Bud Selig.
Yeah,
Matt Tagliabue was an attorney.
Yeah,
Goodell's wasn't it? Goodell is
Goodell's an attorney.
In law. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, not sure exactly what's going on, but I still can't. Is there a drop dead date for baseball? That's what they need. I mentioned they need to have 32 owners, 32 union reps, or 30 owners and 30 reps, right? Team reps. Commissioner needs to walk out. No bathrooms, no water, no food, nothing. You can't go to sleep until you get something hammered out. Or put down a drop dead date. A drop dead date gets things done. Not, you have until August 1st. A drop dead date of, like, let's say July 17th, whatever it might be.
I think the owners came back with like a 79-game schedule or something like that.
Oh, my God, they're playing ping pong with numbers.
Yeah, just do it.
So the players are going to come back with 87. It's kind of like high or low. It's kind of like high or low.
Yeah. And I think the reason, and the players, I'm usually on the player side more than the owners on this one, but the players felt that they had a prorated agreement agreed to in earnest, and then the owners decided, no, we don't like that.
Well, we don't know what's really, I agree. It's kind of, but just put on a deadline. Deadlines get things done. They get things done when it comes to legal. When you have somebody that's getting ready to go to court or somebody who's getting ready to go, and you say, okay, I need to know by, you get things done. Negotiations, put a deadline up, get things done. When we come back, Mark Fannin, head coach at Franklin, what?
No, I'm fine. I'll just have to play this other break right here. So we're ahead on breaks, so good for you.
Mark Fannin, head football coach at Franklin High School, is next.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, pot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion, and I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one, commercial, farm and ranch, or residential. Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
In great times or tough times, you always feel better working with someone who's there for you. When it comes to great banking, people here count on the First National Bank of Central Texas, here to help you, your family, and your business. Personal banking via phone, desktop, tablet, and drive-through, and business banking tailored for all situations, including yours. Amazing tomorrows from the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. And order 30-pound bags of live crawfish by noon on Thursday and pick up on Friday to enjoy the weekend. Live crawfish available right now. And Waco Custom Marketplace doors are open for business Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. And crawfish boil boxes available as well. Make your order for live crawfish by noon on Thursday. Pick up on Friday for the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh kolaches, cinnamon rolls, and baked bread daily. Butcher Shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage boudin, and house cured and smoked bacon. Spices, seasoning, soup mixes, charcoal, and lighter fluid. Waco Custom Marketplace. Doors open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 5. 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
This is SicEm365 Radio. The SicEm365 Radio app is sponsored by Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco, your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
Franklin, last year the Lions were 7-4, and they have been on a great run. For many, many years, their head coach, Mike Hedrick. For many, many years, since 2007 on staff, was Mark Fannin. He's now been promoted to be the head coach of Franklin. He joins us on SicEm365 Radio with Craig and Paul, and I'm David Smoke. Mark, is it different now, and when did you realize being the head coach is different, and what's the biggest difference?
Yes, sir, it is. It's a little bit different, just really the paperwork that's involved is the I guess the big difference, but, just being, I've been around and, being up here and pretty much, through all the downtime and stuff, just being up here in the office, it's just a little bit more time consuming, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
So, Coach, paperwork aside, what's the biggest thing that you have to get done now that everybody is starting to work out and get together?
Well, just keeping these kids being off for just 2.5 months almost. We had such a great off season going, and when this COVID stuff hit, it kind of just shut everything down. And we, the kids were really buying in and really excited about coming to to athletics, and you could just feel it was just a different atmosphere going on. And then trying to get them back here on Monday, just trying to get that same feeling back is what we're trying to work on right now.
Did they show up kind of as you were hoping for? Obviously, you can't keep tabs on guys as you normally would have. So with this 3 months or so that it's been different now, did you have guys pretty much ready to go in shape, or is that going to be kind of a part of the process?
Well, that's a little part of the process, but, we got, for the most part, we've had the kids have come in pretty decent shape, better than I thought they would. And, we're averaging about right at about 105 kids showing up, boys, every morning. So the turnout has been unbelievable, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
Mark, this is a fair question. It's not meant to be a negative question, but you always hear that when you replace somebody, you don't want to be the guy that replaces the legend. You want to be the guy that replaces who replaced the legend. Was there any trepidation in knowing that you're filling the shoes of someone who's a Hall of Fame coach?
Well, it is going to be a very difficult task to do or to even match what Coach Hedrick has done around here. He is one of a kind guy that I've learned unbelievable amount of not just only football, but just about, how to do things right. And he is a very, like you said, you used the word, he is a legend. And it's going to be very difficult to get on his level. But, I've everything I've learned has come from him, and and I wouldn't have traded that for anybody. And I'm really looking forward for the opportunity.
I'll tell you, he was an old grizzled coach, but when we talked to him, that was always great to talk to. What new stuff do you bring that maybe Coach Hedrick didn't do?
Well, we're going to still run our slot T offense, and, we still going to preach that 3.3 yards a carry. Our kids have really bought into that since that's all they know, and we've been really successful running that offense. I am going to be we're going to have to pass the ball a little bit more to get to that next level that we want to get to. And instead of maybe 4 times a game passing, maybe 10 to 12 times a game is our goal. So I'm going to be a little bit more a little bit more open to that. So.
Coach, who are some of your influences, whether they be personal influences along the way or those maybe you draw from across the football landscape? Who are some of your influences?
Well, I hate to keep going back to Coach Mike, but he, I was in Center, Texas for 3 years when I started my coaching career. And, when Coach Mike got this job in Franklin, I've always looked up to his program when he was in Leon. And always kind of looked up to Coach Hedrick. And when he got this job in Franklin, man, I was just shaking to get back here. And I was so excited when he got that job. He actually got the job in 2006. And then I came on board and he hired me in 2007. And he's a wonderful guy to learn from, and I'm so grateful that I got that opportunity.
You had tried to open it up a little bit last year, didn't you, on offense, Mark? And again, that doesn't mean it's one thing to say it. It's one thing to also have those who can do it. Do you have someone who can kind of throw it around a little bit?
We do have that. We have that piece, and we're trying to implement that piece. And, missing out on all the spring, we're going to, try to go over some stuff, and we're trying to, this last Monday, we're trying to implement it and slowly. I'm so glad the UIL is letting us get these kids and work them out with these restrictions. But it's we do have the athletes and the kids to throw it around a little bit, and we're going to implement. We're going to very much implement that this year.
Well, one of the things that I have your schedule in front of me, and this is from Jerry Forrest, Big Skin Prep, and I'm starting to enter a lot of those schedules myself. You open up the season. We had Ray Biles on earlier. You know that Lorena that'll be interesting. You've played them before. Hearn with Ricky Sargent's done a great job. Cameron, they've never won anything before, right? That's I'm kidding. And then you got to face Ronnie Porter and Troy, and we know how much they've raised their level. And with all due respect, and this is with all due respect to Buffalo and Rogers and Lexington in your district, if you can get an idea, you will know who you are after that 4-game gauntlet.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a very, very good competitive 4 games, and I've always liked to schedule, better competition, and I just think it makes us prepare better for when district comes, and if we can just get through those 4 games healthy, it's a bonus.
Mark, good luck, man. And by the way, I'm going to say this. Coach Hedrick, he is old school, was old school, continues to be that way. But Mark was really kind of my contact, and eventually softened Coach Hedrick up to doing an occasional interview with us.
Well, he did it. Remember they did that coaches show, which I didn't know was ever going to happen.
Yeah.
I thought that was.
And it was your work behind the scenes. I want to make sure everyone knows the player of the week. Your son, of course, was a fantastic linebacker. So Mark Fannin had a lot to do with it, and a lot of the information we would get from Franklin the Lions, and now he's the head coach after being the assistant coach since 2007. Hey, thanks for your time, Mark. We appreciate it. Good luck, okay?
Hey, appreciate y'all very much.
Okay, thank you very much. That's Mark Fannin. I like him. He's good. He always told me, man, you could send emails to Mike Hedrick. He doesn't even look at them. I mean, it's funny, and then again, there's, you're getting paid to be the AD football coach, but a lot of them are like that. There's some old guys that and then that's why you have an assistant coach. That's why he says the paperwork. He's been doing a lot of that.
Well, I mean, there's some of them
doing a lot of that.
You'd be better off sending a Pony Express, like on an actual horse. Just a guy in a cowboy hat going, here you go, coach, and then he'll write you back and
like, for
send
example,
a guy on the horseback.
I have this list, and as you guys know, every year I do this. I send out an online form, and we don't do it just because we want to bother you. We want to do it because we want to know maybe a couple of different stories. So when we talk to Mark Fannin or when we have a coach on, that we have a little more background and done just what we know from the fact we've been around for as long as we have and how much we cover high school football. But I'm down to, I got something from Copperell for the first time ever. Copperell. Chester, which is in deep southeast Texas. But there's Aquila, Josh Ball. Like I had to like almost say that I was going to like, I don't know what I was going to do. But he came in along with a few others.
Smaller schools would want some attention.
Yeah,
considering they don't get much of it.
If you look at this graph, most of the yellow is on the top third, to top 2/3, excuse me.
They do have more resources, so they have more coaches that can sit there and, go through a questionnaire. But as somebody who's input those for a lot of years, that's not difficult. I mean, that's not even something that you even have to check on, because all of the questions are things you would already know as the head coach. What offense do you run? What defense do you run? Who are your best players coming back? I mean, how do you not know that and just go da-da-da-da-da-da, and then you're done in 15 minutes? Hey, whatever.
The part that I wish there would be more time spent on is where you've coached before, even as an assistant coach. A lot of times they go right through that. But I'm going to name the ones that have not responded yet.
Are you going to shame them?
No. Scott Stewart hates these things. I'll get that from him. I'll just call him about 10:30 tonight and say, hey, okay, I got the form up. Let's go. Kwame Cavill, I'll get that. I'll just go by there and have him fill it out, okay? Other than that.
Or we get Tevin Reese, too.
Yeah, we get – all right. Nobody in 5A. All of them, Rodney Smith turned his in, along with even Corsicana, A&M Consolidated. We've got Bryan College Station. All the district – that is that now new the district that doesn't have Midway and University except for Scott. We'll get his. 4As, all are in. All of them. 3As, Division I, all of them are in. 3A Division II, all of them are in. 2A Division I, I'm waiting on Goldthwait, which, quite frankly, they're on the very skirts of this. They're kind of like the ones that you got to like, where are you? Keith Verdell has been the head coach. Marlin will get that. No, I think David Haynes has turned his in. Excuse me. He's okay. New coach at Thorndale. And Rosebud Lott is going through a coaching change. And so I'm giving them a little more time. In fact, I think they had a new coaching change as early as maybe this on Monday. Chilton, I can't get Chris James to call me back, and I've called him on every number and emails, personal and whatever. So if you're from Chilton, throw that out there. We did name a young lady
swing
from
by
Chilton.
Yeah, just swing by.
Taylor Bossy from Chilton's on academic.
Swing by the coach's
knock on his door.
Swing by.
Hubbard is going through a coaching change. Although I got Roger Master. He's going to be fine. He's moving this week.
Did you get lost in Chilton one time on your way to Houston?
I was going to Houston on the way to the Woodlands, and I took the wrong turn, and I ended up in Chilton.
Yeah.
It was miserable.
Yeah, you called me like, I'm in Chilton. Like, yeah, you did not go the right way.
Also, the 6As. Golson, Jonesboro, Mount Com, Oglesby, they have a coaching change. Penelope, they never turned anything in. Robert Ballou. And then there's a couple of private schools like Eagle Christian Academy. We'll get that from Bryce Frazier. TJ, easy on Chilton. I played with Chris, and I may be able to get a hold of him.
Good. Thank you,
TJ. I'll send you a Chick-fil-A gift card. SicEm365 Radio. Have you ever thought about how great it would feel a month or 6 months or a year from now if you weighed less and were in better shape and more fit than you are today? Think about that. Words can't explain the confidence I have because of what I've experienced and what I continue to experience every day at Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness. I promise if you join today, you'll thank me later. Offering a variety of different classes, over 40 of them every single week, including boot camp on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. And there's free daycare. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness open Monday through Thursday 5 to 10, Friday 5 to 8, Saturday and Sunday 7 to 7. Contact personal trainers Christy London or Randall Corley and let them make you feel better about yourself. Also, world-class tennis facility with Pro Britt Coleman and Director of Adult Tennis and Special Events Joe Rosa. A spacious, clean clean and sanitized workout room, no intimidation, tremendous camaraderie, an all-new atmosphere that will make you love doing burpees. It's time to react today, not tomorrow. Waco Regional Tennis and Fitness on Lake Shore Drive in Waco.
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recalled drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com. Principal office located in Houston, Texas.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion. And I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's health care clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm, welcome home.
You want to know why Stonewood Dental is so successful? Listen to what happy customers have to say.
It's pleasant. It's different than any other dentist office. I really feel like they care. And it's not that you're here for 2 hours waiting on someone to take care of you. It's quick and easy, and I bring my kids, and my kids love being here too. They really love the treasure box. Staff is really nice and accommodating, real friendly. You feel more like home. It's not sterile looking. Everybody has their own personalized rooms with decorations and decor, and they'll even have a blanket for you when it's cold. I've recommended people to actually come here, and they are patients now. I really love it here. It feels like family.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with Max Olson of The Athletic, brought to you by Pioneer Steel and Pipe, where customer service is their main focus, and best in metal, steel, and pipe for large or small projects, with 2 locations in Waco and Bryan. Family owned and operated since 1943.
Braylon Arnold makes the first man miss, has room to run on the right side. He's got a chance for 6. Braylon Arnold! No one in front of him! Touchdown! Baylor! 73 yards!
The 4 o'clock hour is sponsored by Boozer's Jewelers, the wedding ring store, specializing in custom jewelry and repair, all in-house. Here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
With college athletes back on campus, it's when we had Mac Rhodes on even a couple of weeks ago. It's not if, but when someone is going to test positive. Oklahoma State has dealt with this. Texas now has dealt with this. It'll be shocking if not every program around the country at some point or another has to deal with a positive test for coronavirus. Max Olson, theathletic.com, joins us right now. And Max, I saw your story posted about Oklahoma State, and I see the picture. And, man, and this is very, very detailed. I mean, this is not to mess around. Your thoughts about what you learned with Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I got an opportunity to speak not with a coach or a player, but with an actual medical expert over at Oklahoma State, Dr. Casey Schrum, who's the president of their health and sciences school there, and just talk about she led the task force that put together the very detailed plan that Oklahoma State came up with, and as you know, all schools are really having to come up with those right now and figure out what does it take to do this right with the return to campus plan for June here. And, the Oklahoma State case is a little bit more interesting than, we're seeing more and more schools, like you mentioned, Alabama and Auburn and Texas and a bunch of them, announcing that they've had some test positive. Oklahoma State's a little bit different because we actually know the identity of one of them, and that's Amen Ogbaniga, the linebacker for them. I think I just butchered that last name. Well, we'll figure it out. But the linebacker, he's an all Big 12 player, and he tested positive and decided that he should tweet it out there. And I think that's helpful for people to put a face on it and to know, okay, what's the process for a guy like that once he tested positive? He's asymptomatic, but, he has to, at Oklahoma State, move into a quarantine dorm and get tested every 3 days. And I think he's going to have to sit out at least 14 days, which could get him back in time for workouts with them when they start up. But, it's a really interesting process for these schools. You spend months sort of talking about it theoretically of how it would work. And in Stillwater, they're having to, they have to put the plan into action. And, part of the difficulty for all these folks that put them together is you make the best, plans and decisions you can with the information you have. But I think we all know that information is going to continue to change and evolve over the next few months.
Max, is it positive to see that when a player tests positive, they haven't just shut everything down? That was my concern, is that they were going to say that they weren't, and then ultimately somebody's going to test positive, and they're going to be like, all right, well, we just have to wait this guy out.
Yeah, first of all, I think that the testing results for some of these schools is encouraging, that you're not having 20 players test positive for COVID. You're just having a couple at most of these schools. I think that's a promising sign so far. And the important thing is just isolating those guys, and then you have to go through the process of contact tracing. And in Oklahoma State's case, that's a little bit of a difficult one because Amen went to a protest in Tulsa a couple days before he tested positive. So you wonder, it's hard to sort of trace where you get where you pick that up. And then in his case, like his roommate and his best friend is Chuba Hubbard. So even if Chuba didn't test positive, we don't know if he did or didn't, but no matter what the result of his, test was, he's still going to have to quarantine as a primary contact and stuff. So that's the part where I think it's going to be really interesting to follow, and I don't think anybody has a very good answer for, is if this happens on a Monday in September, if your all Big 12 linebacker test positive and his roommate, the All-American running back, and a bunch of the other guys that have been around him, like, are they going to have to sit out? Are they going to sit out for 14 days and miss 2 games? I mean, I think we're all still trying to figure out what this actually looks like in the fall, and it's a hell of a question.
Max, what have been some of the early returns from what you've gathered now that we've got multiple schools who have either had positives or at least are onboarding? Baylor's onboarding. I think most around the country are at this point. Is it mostly positive on the early returns, or is it still sort of in the middle?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are optimistic as they go through this, and certainly there's just so many details that have to be worked out from, like your workout space and your workout groups. The groups have to be smaller. The spaces probably need to be spread out or outdoors in some ways and stuff like that. Certainly this process is going to begin mostly with just like strength and conditioning, and not 11 on 11 or any coaching or anything like that. So I think part of it important here is just to get through this first step of getting guys back in good shape and kind of seeing how they look after a few months at home. But, I think people are encouraged, but I think the reality is we're all sitting here feeling like we got to really cross our fingers that kind of each step of this long process goes well because, you certainly, I think we all certainly fear that there's going to be setbacks and any setbacks that arise, I think you start to, affect the schedule in the fall.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, it's great that they're back on campus, but then there's going to still be reality. You were able to I see a couple of notes you were able to listen to Tom Herman, some notes about football today with UT's Tom Herman?
That's right. Yep.
What were some of the things that stuck out with what you said?
Well, certainly they were talking about, more than just the return to campus. They were also talking about their players protesting and what they're trying to do with the Black Lives movement, Black Lives Matter movement, and all that. So there's certainly a lot to talk about in addition to football getting started. But I got the sense that Tom Herman and his folks are, his staff are pretty well studied up on how this looks. But I mean, they even admitted as they sort of have things planned out here. Like they sort of only have their plan and their schedule set through like July 9th. And I think that's just where a lot of people are at right now, where they're, you're just trying to kind of, you're kind of driving in the dark here and just trying to see as much as you can and trying to get through this week and the next week. And, right now this process of getting guys back on campus, you have to kind of do that in phases. And, you can't have an entire football team of, 130 guys showing up at once. So, part of that has to be sort of segmented and then the workouts have to. There's just so much that goes into this that these folks have never dealt with before. And I think everybody feels like they're making the best decisions they can, but I think there's also going to be some trial and error to this process.
Max, we didn't get to have you on last week after the Florida State kind of debacle with Mike Norvell and how that got worked out. But this is going to be an interesting few months for coaches to navigate this issue. Tom Herman came out and said the right things, and most coaches have, but the ones who haven't or haven't handled it well, Dabo Sweeney's had to come out and have players support him and kind of do all that. How do you see this playing out over the next few months for coaches, especially some that may not be prone to speak on a social issue anyway, no matter how they feel about it?
Yeah, certainly. I think first of all, and I think you've seen the backlash on Dabo. I think these coaches need to understand that you can't just sit here and say, "Well, I'm just a football coach. What do I know?" Because ultimately, you run a football program full of very impressionable young men from 18 to 22, and you need to be providing them the right values and the right environment, the right culture. And I think we're seeing. What's happening in Iowa and Utah right now, for example, I think is really important. That former players are being, not afraid to step forward and say, "Here's what my college experience was," and I think we can all stand to learn from that. And I think when you mentioned Florida State, to me, what stands out is, Marvin Wilson is one of the best players in college football, and I think he understood that Mike Norvell needs him more than he needs Mike Norvell, right? And I think these players, as they kind of find their voice and figure out that they have a real platform here, they have more power than they think, and they can affect change and they can send a message, and take advantage of that. And obviously that's going to continue to change next year as you give them NIL rights. But it's really interesting to see a guy like Marvin Wilson try to use his platform to make their program better and to call out his coach when he thinks something is wrong. And I think more and more players are going to see that, and I think that leads to a more accountable culture where, I think if a coach is out of line, I think you're going to see players say so.
Max, USC has not had a lot of really positive things written about them, between the college admissions scandal and the Pac-12's kind of, right now. But they have the positive of Reggie Bush being back in their good graces. What did you think about that this week?
Yeah, it's kind of, it makes all of us feel a little old, right? How much of the time has gone by since he was too, as a superstar in college. But yeah, I mean, I think that's long overdue. You know, I think, you know, it, you know, what Reggie Bush got in trouble for that cost him not just his Heisman Trophy, but his association with the university. You know, I think we've seen a lot of stuff since that probably puts that in the right context, that it really wasn't that big of a deal. And you know, not to say that NCAA violations aren't important, but I mean, I think as time has passed, you know, I think we probably have a different perspective on that. And I think it's, you know, a cool thing for Reggie Bush, obviously a guy that's had to put up with a lot and had to, I mean, that's been a tough deal for him. So, like, it's cool to see. I think it's overdue. Man, I would still say after all these years, he's got to be one of the best we've ever seen.
Yeah, he was spectacular. Obviously, Vince Young in that conversation that year because of the win. When teams or programs get sideways with the NCAA, what do you think is more unfair? Retracting someone's name who everyone knows was a part of it, a Heisman Trophy winner, or saying that, for example, USC did not win a national title in X year, or punishing the program of the current student athletes who weren't there?
Ooh, that's a good one. What do you think?
I think that history, you can say whatever you want. Like, we see people tearing down statues now, and there's reasons behind it. Everyone has. That doesn't mean that Christopher Columbus didn't exist, and so I understand why some people wish he didn't, or whoever. It's like.
But Reggie Bush didn't do anything like Christopher Columbus,
yeah,
so there's no point tearing down a statue.
So,
yeah.
But to take his name off the what do they do? They take away wins. Those wins are wins. It's not like somebody else gets them. Like, I think, and I do believe, and no one's told me this, no one's ever said a word to me about Baylor. Whenever they finally face whatever the NCAA does, if anything, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to, for example, take away a Big 12 championship or two. I think that would kill the fans. I think it would kill everybody.
But Max, to me, I always think that, you know, the better thing would be just postseason ban and fine them a bunch of money. Don't do all this, you know, maybe scholarship reduction, but taking away trophies and wins and stuff is just dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really take away our memories of any of that stuff. And I've never really been, I don't know, like when they threaten to, like, take down banners, like, that doesn't really mean a whole lot to me, honestly. Like, I understand if that hurts the fan base and stuff, but, like, I think we all know that's, like, kind of a silly practice. And, you know, you go look at coaches' records online and it says they're 0-0 in the season. Like, that kind of stuff to me is it's just silly. It's not really, you know, those sorts of things. I don't really think they accomplish the shaming that they think they do, honestly.
Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous, using a Baylor example, that, taking into account how long this has already taken and there's no end in sight, that guys who are in middle school are going to not be able to be in a bowl game because of what happened in 2013 through 15 or whatever. That just seems ridiculous to me. But that's how they operate, I suppose.
Yeah, and we're certainly in a weird time here, too, where, I mean, the NCAA just does not have the manpower to handle all these things at once. You know? So that's how you end up with a deal like Baylor dragging on as long as it has through many different football head coaches and stuff like that. It's frankly, I thought that'd be, you know, wrapped up last summer. So it's crazy to me that we're still at this point.
Max, I think that's why they're trying to change the rules so they don't spend as much money on lawyers. I don't think the NCAA cares as much about the actual issue as it does it's bleeding them dry.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. That's for sure.
It's interesting, though, that they can take forever with North Carolina and Kansas and even Baylor, but SFA is handled almost overnight. My alma mater, of course, my alma mater threw their entire campus on the sword, which is another story. This is from Carl Campbell. Smokey, great question. You cannot change history that happened and it's over. I think the worst part is when they vacate wins and then return them. Remember, they did that with Penn State. Joe
yeah.
Paul.
Penn State had to sue.
Yeah, and it's just, again, don't just make a decision to please the masses. Make a decision that makes sense so you don't have to come back and have to go to court and have to redo it or whatever. I don't know. Now, I got to ask you.
And I feel the same way with the Astros stuff, honestly, right? Like, does putting stuff in the record books there and asterisks and stuff like, does that really change
Exactly
much,
right.
you know?
Exactly right. I have to ask you because I know that you are perhaps as frustrated as I am. Nebraska's football program is a shell of itself. It has been forever. They just lost J.D. Spielman. He's going to transfer. I know he's been through some things and maybe some emotional things as well. How in the hell are they losing so many players? Is it because Frost is just being inhuman with workouts? Because they haven't had any, really. What's going on there? They are losing. They're like bleeding to death. In basketball, too.
Yeah. I mean, like basketball, at least you feel a little better about the direction because they've got Hoiberg. Obviously, Hoiberg has actual accomplishments. You feel like, you feel like it will take time, but he'll be all right. Football has now lost 14 scholarship players this offseason. And look, some of those guys got in trouble. Some of them were pushed out. But certainly the J.D. Spielman one is a really odd deal. This is a guy that, is number 3 in their career record books in receiving yards. A guy that a couple months ago took a leave of absence from the program, and no one's really kind of explained why. And then all of a sudden now he's in the portal and don't know where he's going to go. Really talented player, a guy who's put up 800 receiving yards in 3 straight years. But for a Nebraska passing game that had a really, just beyond Spielman, they had nothing at wide receiver last year. And now they lose him, and they're kind of betting everything on Omar Manning, who I think is extremely talented. I think he could be really good this year and the breakout guy for them. But you're kind of betting it all on him and Wandale Robinson and stuff like that. So it's a thin group now. And look, Nebraska just they need as many breaks as they can get to get this thing turned around, and it's just not happening.
It's been brutal, and I'm curious. I'm not so sure. I
feel like we have a therapy session on this every week.
And that's what sucks about the Big 12 Media Days being virtual now, because you and I would at least sit down at some point and discuss the wreckage in Lincoln. But, oh, well. All right, man. Thanks, Max. Appreciate your time. Max Olson with us. Today wrote a story in The Athletic on Oklahoma State and how they're handling a detailed plan on campus COVID-19 and how they're going about doing that. Also, a couple of notes. Tom Herman was saying in some cases today at Texas Underback that it's going to cost close to $1 million just to kind of get through the testing and getting people there and going through the process. And here you have athletic departments that are gutted.
Well, Texas will be fine.
No, they'll have they can do this.
Pull that out of his sock.
They're fine, but Arkansas State, $1 million to them, that's a big chunk. And then you go down the line, Florida A&M. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I know. At 4:30, we'll hear from Mickey Spagnola, DallasCowboys.com. You said Jake Mangum, he called us back. He's not available.
He said that he can do tomorrow, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tomorrow, remember, Nate Boyer, the Green Beret.
I'm excited about that.
Will join us again. He was here on Memorial Day. He'll join us again tomorrow. He has been very, very trying to be involved and trying to educate. There's some things that have frustrated him too now, but trying to educate. He'll join us tomorrow at 3:15. But coming up next, Mickey Spagnola on the Cowboys. This is SicEm365 Radio.
Buick Encore is the perfect crossover SUV with a quiet ride, a roomy interior, and they are packed with safety features and the latest technology. Right now, you can get a Buick Encore for only $19,900 at Richard Carr Motors. That means you're saving $6,000 on the 2020 Buick Encore. You looking for the ultimate luxury style and power in an SUV? Well, check out the Cadillac XT4, XT5, XT7, and the passenger Cadillac XT6. Experience the thrill of owning a Cadillac XT4 right now for only $35,900 at Richard Carr Cadillac. Richard Carr has great prices. They also have free oil changes with a new purchase, in-town priority warranty service. All of that comes when you buy a car from Richard Carr Buick GMC Cadillac. They are the people you can count on. A local family dealer run by Baylor Bear alumni. They want the chance to earn your business. They've got the daily disinfected showroom, a safety-focused staff, and they can bring the test drive to your home. Your comfort and safety is their first priority. Find them at richardcar.com or Highway 6 at the Imperial exit.
This is Waco, and this is Boozer's Jewelers. When locals want luxurious jewelry and at a competitive price, they come here. This is Brad Boozer. He's the owner of Boozer's Jewelers. Boozer's is the premier wedding ring store. They specialize in loose diamonds and wedding rings. At Boozer's, they have 7 jewelry counters dedicated to wedding rings and diamonds only. They also specialize in heirloom jewelry, custom jewelry, watches, and much, much more. So what are you waiting for?
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recalled drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com, principal office in Houston, Texas.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, hot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months and it's a happy experience, it's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
So it's time for us to have a talk because obviously your buddies aren't telling you and neither is your woman. You've been driving that truck around, exposing your stuff. It's not only embarrassing, it's disgusting. I'm talking about full frontal truck nudity, and it's time for you to do something about it with a grill guard or a front-end replacement bumper from Pickup Outfitters. There are lots of good reasons to get a grill guard, like when Bambi decides to cross the road at the same time you're occupying it. But the best reason is that no one wants to see your junk up in your grill. Pickup Outfitters on Lake Erie Drive carries all the major brands of grill guards, including Ranch Hand, Cattleman, and even the Renegade brand made right here in Waco. And every grill guard we sell comes with our lifetime installation guarantee and no-worry warranty program. Won't you help us end truck nudity? Pickup Outfitters, 220 Lake Erie Drive in Waco. Check out our grill guards on our website at createacommotion.com/guards. createacommotion.com/guards.
One size fits all. That may be all right for an adjustable belt or cheap sunglasses, but when it comes to your financial needs, no one wants a one-size-fits-all strategy. Ben Erlinson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, knows that his most important goals are yours. That's why he takes the time to understand your needs, knowing you. That's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing. Ben Erlinson, 100 North 6th Street in Waco, 254-759-8533. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Welcome back to SicEm365 Radio. It's time for our weekly segment with Mickey Spagnola of DallasCowboys.com.
Prescott to the end zone. Touchdown. It's another one for Amari Cooper.
All right, here we go. This 4 o'clock hour, halfway through, 4:30 now. Mickey Spagnola with us on Thursdays at this time from DallasCowboys.com with Craig and Paul. I'm David Smoke. And Mickey, we had somebody bring this up the other day. I can't remember who it is. We've asked this a couple of times this week. If you could bring back one former Cowboys player to join this team, was that you who asked that? I don't remember. Maybe so. If you could
No,
bring,
I was just laughing at the bar game question.
yeah, who would it be?
Oh my!
There's been 2 or 3 pretty obvious answers. David Hellman said DeMarcus Ware. I think the obvious answer would be Dion because that just makes half your field easier, right, or better. But you want to think about that?
Yeah. Go ahead and ask me a couple more. Now let me think about it.
Guys, Paul?
Mickey, I've asked.
Anybody ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Jerry Jones has not commented on the racial unrest and everything yet, and he was very outspoken about kneeling, and he's gotten some criticism for that, and I personally don't know if that's fair because you got to let people walk at their own speed when it comes to these things, but how do you think the Cowboys will handle this, and if anybody's ready for, widespread criticism, it's Jerry Jones.
Yeah. How did you guys answer that?
I would think that he says what he needs to say and move, and tries to move forward, but he's always been, a guy who listens to the players, so I don't think he's going to, jump out and put his foot in his mouth.
Yeah. And, the Cowboys, I mean, I'm sure y'all saw the video last week that they put out, and while he wasn't on it, I'm sure it ran past him after it was produced before it ran. I mean, what's he going to say? Because everybody's got to say the same thing, right? Otherwise, you get Drew Brees. That's my new verb, by the way. I thought, Charles Barkley, I thought made a nice comment about that. He said, I don't agree with what Drew Brees said, but I don't think the criticism he's gotten was fair. We have a country of free speech until your free speech doesn't agree with everybody else's. And so, yeah, I mean, everybody wants to hurry up and put out what they got to say. Well, it's kind of all the same, right?
Yep.
No one's really said anything differently. I just saw where the NFL was going to, spend $250 million with one of those organizations they were donating to help combat racism. I mean, you guys, we've been doing this for 52 years. I'm not sure where we're at. That's kind of the sad part, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, Craig has brought this up. Craig, what did you say about there are some you let your own actions sometimes, or should let your own actions speak for yourself. But you and I both know, we know, that there are now some, because of social media, that want to raise their hand in the air and say, hey, look at me, this is what I think. What was that you were talking about?
There's a term, and it doesn't always apply, but virtue signaling. There was one thing when I saw, some people coming out and saying I'm standing against racism, but then when it turned into one of these billions of Twitter chains of, I'm going to tag 5 people so that they can also say that they stand against racism, and then they tag 5. I just find it foolish. I mean, foolish in this from the stance of, if I choose not to participate in that, that doesn't mean that I'm a racist and I don't believe in the cause or anything like that. It's more or less I just don't care to draw attention to myself and try to prove to anybody through social media that I'm something that they think I'm not, or whatever, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and if you think about when this came up last time, was it 2017, the kneeling started?
Mm-hmm.
And I think and I remember Jason Garrett saying this. It's like, okay, you can kneel, but when you're away from the game, what are you doing to help? What tangible, what tangibly are you doing to help to try to combat it? Calling attention to it, kneeling is one thing, but obviously that's not enough, because here we are 3 years later. And, to me, the whole thing behind all this is education. And the more you educate people, the better off we are in all walks of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that includes, educating police officers. So all I know is, and David, I'm sure you were, aware too, I was there when Martin Luther King got assassinated.
Mm-hmm. You were in Chicago. Yep. Yeah.
1968. You know, I was in high school.
Yep.
And here we are 52 years later. You know, there's been progress, but obviously not enough. So, yeah, it's a tough subject to handle. You know, I think was it a week ago, Dak Prescott was getting criticized for not saying anything, and then he came out with a really well-worded Instagram post and thought it made a lot of sense, because a lot of what he was saying is, yeah, I'm going to donate $1 million, and what he was targeting is training up police officers and educating police officers. And that's certainly, you know, a pretty good place to start. So, yeah, everybody's, you know, rushing to tell people what they need to say and when they need to say it. And it's like, it'll take care, that part of it will take care of itself.
Carl on our text line, brought to you by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, says, I think Jerry not saying anything is the right move for him. If he says what everyone wants him, he'll be blasted for caving to just make a statement. Jerry's doing the right thing, according to Carl, because he has his own beliefs and he is who he is.
Yeah, but people have to let people adjust to this in their own way.
No, I need you to say that you don't like racism by Tuesday at 3 o'clock, Paul.
It's silly that they're like, okay, well, why isn't he said? What good would it do? And Mickey, you said that. What good would it do him now to just say, yeah, I don't like racism? I mean, like, that's what it's going to sound like, and it's what he does, the actions that are going to really last a long time, not whatever he puts out on the, you know, on your website.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think the NFL needs to step forward and come out with some sort of plan as the season starts to take the pressure off the individual teams. Because, you know, if kneeling's okay, fine. You know, let's do it. But you know what it's going to come down to? Before the game starts, we're going to be taking attendance every week. Who knelt and who didn't? And so, you know, I think the NFL needs to come out with a plan for the entire league, and to take the pressure, or the owners need to come out with a plan in concert and take the pressure off the individual ones and do whatever they do it as a league. It's pretty simple. The NBA didn't have that problem in 2017, did they?
No.
So I think that's where it's got to start,
Mickey,
in my humble opinion.
Mickey, I have nothing against this guy personally, but why can't Dez just leave the Cowboys alone? Why does he have to make a comment on seemingly everything, and in some cases almost like trying to start something in some ways? I know he commented on Jerry's lack of a statement. Also, you know, then said, of course, that he doesn't think Jerry's racist and he was treated well and everything, but it's just like, it feels like everywhere I look, there's always a Dez comment on the Cowboys somewhere. Am I wrong?
Yeah. I mean, it's Twitter, right?
Yeah.
That's what Twitter's for.
Yeah.
And I think I've told David this before. It's going to be the death of our society.
I know. Yeah. No, and yeah, it's also, he's going to give a quote that will
rile up
get
people.
attention,
Get on first take.
or rile up people that get mad at him. And it doesn't matter. He's going to give a quote. He's very quotable. I think that's one of the things about Jerry, is that Jerry's always been available for anything, and then all of a sudden, in this time, you don't hear much. But it's his life. He can decide what he wants to do when. But you're right about the attendance. You're exactly right about the attendance figure. There's going to be like a clipboard with who stood, who kneeled, who did this or who did that. And that surely is not going to help anything. You don't want someone to kneel because they feel pressure to kneel. You want someone to kneel because they want to kneel, because they feel like they should, because they feel like they should. That's what they believe. And there'll be a checklist and like a taking attendance. Now, you did something. I saw some mixed shots on Gerald McCoy about the 32-year-old, very active, great player at Oklahoma, really good player at Tampa Bay. How much do you think he brings to the table with who he is, with what Dallas might do with their defensive line?
Well, I'm not sure, it's like I just watched a couple games from last year that he played with in Carolina. I'm not sure what the scheme was, what his responsibilities were. So, I'm not sure what he has left. I mean, he's played 10 years now. But I do know that just listening to him, and this was my point in my column, and hearing the things he says, he may bring more to that locker room than anything else because he's charismatic. He talks sense. He's not afraid to throw out his opinions. And they were asking him, how do we solve this? What do we do? And he kept going on and on about, we've got to need more love. We need more love in this world. And, when you sat there and think about it, it's like, all right. And the other thing that stood out to me, and it was with Colin Cowherd, he asked him, he said, what went into your decision to go to sign with the Cowboys? I'm sure other teams were interested in you. Was it a business decision? Was it a marketing decision? And I thought he answered the question very wisely. He said, can I answer that question with questions? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, who's the top-rated analyst on Fox TV? Troy Aikman. Who took the place of John Gruden when he left Monday Night Football? Jason Witten. Who's the top-paid analyst on TV this year? Tony Romo. He said, I'll leave your question at that.
Yeah.
Good point.
And his point was, check this out, and I didn't realize it, but he played 9 seasons with Tampa Bay. He said in those 9 seasons, he appeared in 4 nationally televised games, and he wasn't counting Thursday night now because everybody plays Thursday night. He said, think about this, 4 in 9 years. I'm scheduled to play 5 this first year with the Cowboys. So his point being, from a business decision, it's worth playing for the Cowboys now and maybe after football. It'll get you someplace.
Yep.
So I just thought it was so well thought out that my point was his locker needs to be in the middle of that locker room. To his right, it needs to be Tristan Hill, who was a little bit lost last year. And to the left, it needs to be Neville Gallimore, coming from Oklahoma. And just tell those guys, do whatever Gerald McCoy does, and you'll probably be fine. And it wouldn't be bad to have Antoine Woods kind of in the neighborhood.
Tristan Hill needs to be, essentially he just needs to chauffeur Gerald around so we can make sure that they're together all the time.
Yeah, no, you need to be a shadow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is going to be an important season for him because when you get off to a slow start like that, you kind of get tagged, and now they bring in, 2 more veteran defensive tackles that had you flourished your rookie year, maybe they only bring in 1. Mm-hmm. And then you add Neville Gallimore to the equation, who seems to be pretty well adjusted and seems to be a hard worker. Who knows what they're going to do with Tyrone Crawford and their tackle? So yeah, he's got to get his act together.
And it's also coaches.
So I think that's where. Yeah, and I think McCoy. He seems like you guys. You know how when veterans change teams and they kind of feel their way in. It's like, well, this is my team. I got to. The interviews he's done, he hasn't shied away from saying what he wants to say, and not in an outspoken way, but in kind of a leadership way. And if he does that in the locker room, I think it'll go a long way, especially on that defense, because they need that. They need a voice. Sean Lee was that voice. But injuries and then not being a full-time starter until Van Der Esch got injured, he kind of was in the background a little bit. They need somebody to step up and be that voice on that defense. And if you think about it, other than DeMarcus Lawrence, who speaks out? Who's got something to say? And especially during games, too, by the way. I think his experience will help out quite a bit.
Thank you, Mickey. Mickey Spagnola with us Thursdays at 4:30.
Oh, wait a minute. I'll go with DeMarcus Ware.
Okay, there you go. There you go. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Thank
All right,
Mickey
see you
Spagnola
guys.
Thursdays at 4:30, DallasCowboys.com.
I know that was kind of a weird question, non-question I had about Dez. It's just a
it's
pet
a great
peeve.
question.
No, it's just a pet peeve because, like, he has to comment on everything. He is such the jilted lover.
Yes.
And it's just annoying to me, and I know it's such a small thing. It's not like something I lose sleep over, but it's just like I hate that every time something Cowboys-related is brought up, especially when as it pertains to Dak or Jerry or Jason Garrett. Hates Jason Witten. Clearly hates Jason Witten. That he's always got to pipe in. And, one thing you do find on social media as well is you've got your troublemakers, and they love to see a little bit of drama. That's what it's all about, is that drama. So he's got his following of people that love that he rustles it up, and I just get so tired of seeing him rustle it up because it's like, dude, you haven't been a part of that organization.
It's the only thing that makes him relevant.
Exactly, and that's what drives me nuts about it. It's like your opinion doesn't even matter at this point because the team you played on, Romo's gone, Witten's gone. Like, this is not Jason Garrett's gone. You don't know this team.
Terrell Owens was the same way, but he's a Hall of Famer.
And he complains about everybody.
And but
and I like Dez. It's like, gosh, enough, man. You got broken up with. Deal with it.
Alan Samuels, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat, the sponsor of our app at SicEm365 Radio. Earlier today, D. Carter sent me a text on the text line. I don't know what you've done, Smokey, technically, but the technological advances and the strength of what you guys have every day has been flawless for a long, long time. You have no idea.
Yeah.
But you were you were going to say something else?
Well, not on that, but thank you for those comments. And yeah, I've heard that from a couple people of it sounds like improved. And I think anybody who knows anything about where we started and where we are, we've come a long way. Tomorrow will be show number 50 already. Amazing. And we're not going to celebrate anniversaries all the time, but 50 is kind of come and gone in a very short amount of time. And so, yeah, this is makeshift almost in many ways. So Paul's done a tremendous job. I know Colt and everybody else has been very helpful as well, and others. But, yeah, thank you for acknowledging that.
Here's why I love Colt Barber, and I hope he hears this, is before, whenever I had a technical problem, my pretty much solid response was, we'll figure it out. And we'll figure it out. And now I have a guy who will help walk me through things, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, and the note I have, the reason I was kind of getting your attention there a couple of seconds ago before I started talking about Dez is the Rangers have made their latest draft pick, and I figure we could probably come back with that. And a couple of Big 12 signees have also been drafted here in the last few minutes. A couple of Aggies have been drafted, so we can update that.
All right, we'll do that when we come back. Thanks to Carl Campbell. He's been on the text line. TJ 314, appreciate you. 254-339-1122. That line is open right now. If you call today, right now, you'll get a Chick-fil-A gift card thanks to David Sikora for a free Chick-fil-A sandwich meal or a Nuggets meal. 254-339-1122. This is SicEm365 Radio. Pioneer still in pipe. I went over there, what was it, a couple of weeks ago, sat down with Braden Embry. That place has been solid as a rock since 1943. Now, they haven't always been in that location, and they're growing all the time. And, man, they've got some great news that they want to eventually let you even know more about how it's going to be even better, bigger, better, faster, stronger. And that says a lot because when a company's been in business since 1943, they've weathered all sorts of the big box stores who come in and try to just crush the local economy, the local businesses. And Pioneer Steel and Pipe has said, hey, we're still here. They're still here. Customer service means everything. You still have to have the great product. You have to have the great delivery. You have to have the great relationships, and they have those too. metal buildings and components, metal roofing, structural steel pipe, all types of structural steel, including beams, channel iron, angle iron, square tubing, flat iron, and more. They have a large inventory, huge inventory for you. They will also help you with whatever project it might be, offering suggestions on design, providing you with a list of reliable contractors if you need them. Whatever you have to do, make your experience enjoyable, and you can do that with Pioneer Steel and Pipe. A large pipe inventory giving you options on building a nice fence or entryway, several cost-effective options as well, including a large inventory of the number one quality used pipe. This place has survived everything. Pioneer Steel and Pipe, great product, great people, great staff, great customer service. At both Waco and Bryan locations since 1943. ThePioneerBoys.com.
This is Waco, and this is Boozer's Jewelers. When locals want luxurious jewelry and at a competitive price, they come here. This is Brad Boozer. He's the owner of Boozer's Jewelers. Boozer's is the premier wedding ring store. They specialize in loose diamonds and wedding rings. At Boozer's, they have 7 jewelry counters dedicated to wedding rings and diamonds only. They also specialize in heirloom jewelry, custom jewelry, watches, and much, much more. So what are you waiting for? Stop on in today and discover why the locals trust Boozer's for their jewelry.
How did Edward Jones become one of the biggest financial service companies in the world? By not acting that way. Financial strategies, one-on-one advice, it's a big difference. And that's why Brad Wilson, your Edward Jones financial advisor, makes sense of investing. Experience the difference for yourself. Brad Wilson, 250 Sharon Drive in Woodway, 254-776-4337. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
These make a great pair. Each are phenomenal bargains from Allen Samuels. The new 2020 Jeep Cherokee and new 2019 Dodge Journey. Save thousands now as we drive forward into summer. Journey, the great American crossover with third row seating, just $16,995 for select qualified buyers. And the Go Anywhere Jeep Cherokee, just $29.90 and eligible for first responder $500 bonus cash. Journey, Jeep Cherokee, summer bargains from Allen Samuels. Ask for details.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. In a long-distance meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be part of the Waco community. We're a small family business here in Central Texas. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important. And unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. And that's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through this difficult time. So if you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. You can schedule online in minutes at idealmri.com or call 833-IDEAL-MRI.
Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the team physician of Baylor Athletics. Our doctors specialize in the diagnosis and treatment of any and all sports-related injuries, celebrating over a decade of service in Central Texas. Our doctors are equipped to handle a wide range of issues, whether it's your foot or ankle, orthopedic spine care, your hand or wrist, knee and shoulder pain, or if you're in need of our arthritis or total joint clinic. Trust the doctors that Baylor trusts. Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Our goal is to get you back in the game.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Text us at 254-339-1122. The SicEm365 Radio text line is sponsored by Riverbend Liquor and Wine, with the most extensive variety of craft beer in Waco. A hidden gem on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street.
We'll have Art Strickland live from the Colonial. The Charles Schwab Challenge up in Fort Worth is a PGA Tour, which has been shut down since March. Since after that first round at the Players' Championship in Ponte Vedra, Florida, they're back underway. I watched some of it. It was nice to see live golf. A lot of big names are there, huge names that are there. And we'll have an update from Art Strickland. He's been walking the course, watching the play. He'll join us from the Colonial in Fort Worth here in just a minute.
Do you think maybe they got a couple more names they wouldn't have because guys just want to play?
Oh, my God. It's a huge field.
Yeah.
I would think the Colonial would never have this type of field. And you think of everybody that's good, McElroy, Rahm.
When I went 2 years ago.
Koepka, Mickelson, Fowler, on and on and on. And the only one that's a name that's not there that I know of, I mean, I saw where there's Justin Rose, is probably Tiger.
When I went 2 years ago, I think Phil played and missed the cut, so I didn't see him. But Rory wasn't there, and Tiger obviously wasn't there. He doesn't really play in Texas anymore, does he? He doesn't play the Valero. He doesn't play the Shell.
It's been a while, yeah.
Didn't play the Byron Nelson. I wonder, but it was still a pretty good field. But now, I mean, guys are chomping at the bit.
Some of what happened with also the Texas swing is when it landed, they've changed it up quite a bit. And, of course, this year it's different because of the delays. But a lot of it is where it falls following the Augusta and before the U.S. Open. Of course, the U.S. Open would be played next weekend. Would normally be coming up. Is Father's Day weekend next weekend or in 2 weeks?
Yeah, next week.
That's what it would be. All right, the Major League Baseball draft is now wrapping up or getting close to ending round 2. Craig?
Yeah, I was going to mention first, though, there has been a hole-in-one today at the Charles Schwab Challenge. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Sung Kang had a hole-in-one about an hour ago, so that was a pretty exciting moment.
Scores are low, yeah.
But so far in the second round, and bear with me a little bit here because I'm not sure on some of these Texas high school players exactly like where they signed, so I'm going to try and do that as best as I can. But as far as some college players of note that have been taken off of the board, pick number 43 overall to the Seattle Mariners, A&M outfielder Zach DeLoche. Also, Aggies Christian Roa, pitcher, went 48th overall to the Cincinnati Reds. So a couple of those guys coming off of the board so far. The Rangers, I do need to mention the Texas Rangers. They selected Evan Carter out of Elizabethton High School in Tennessee, an outfielder and switch hitter. So he is the latest Texas Ranger, joining the second baseman pick from last night. Kingwood High School's Mason Wynn went to the Cardinals at pick number 54, which is the latest pick. DBU's Burl Caraway, 49th overall to the Cubs. And Refugio's Jared Kelly, who is a Texas signee, he was selected 47th overall by the Chicago White Sox. So a Texas signee that you think would, I don't know, like with the draft so funky this year, I'm not sure like some of these guys, if they're not drafted high in the first round, like what their decisions are going to be. But I would think being in the second round, you're still looking at over $1 million, if close to $2 million. So potentially a player there that Texas will not get on campus. And they've had a couple of those guys. Jared Kelly, 47th overall to the White Sox, is a Texas signee. So is Jared Jones, who went 44th overall. So two signees that they had went within 4 picks of each other. 2 A&M players, as I mentioned, as well. And, a Texas high school player, and just kind of keeps rolling on here. But the Rangers have made their second pick, and at some point we'll get an Astros pick. But
by the way, yeah, they lost some, though. But by the way, the last player from Elizabethton High School in any sport who came to Dallas and played, Smokey, do you know who it was?
Jason Witten.
There you go. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
So,
all right, when we come back, he's up in Fort Worth. He's following the first round of the Charles Schwab Challenge, the Colonial in Fort Worth. Art Strickland on SicEm365 Radio.
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. And Order 30-pound bags of live crawfish by noon on Thursday and pick up on Friday to enjoy the weekend. Live crawfish available right now. And Waco Custom Marketplace doors are open for business Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. And crawfish boil boxes available as well. Make your order for live crawfish by noon on Thursday. Pick up on Friday for the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh kolaches, cinnamon rolls, and baked bread daily. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, and house-cured and smoked bacon. Spices, seasonings, soup mixes, charcoal, and lighter fluid. Waco Custom Marketplace. Doors open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
Hi, this is Tristan Abram, Mahia High School head football coach, and I'm a proud listener and supporter of SicEm365 radio show with David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
In the market for a quality metal building? Since 1943, Pioneer Steel and Pipe has helped Central Texas residential and commercial customers with metal building design, panel options, building components, and trim options. Pioneer Steel and Pipe's residential line is energy efficient, offers low maintenance, reduces insurance payments, is impact resistant, and carries up to a 45-year limited warranty. In addition, they can also help you find a metal building contractor for your project. Pioneer Steel and Pipe with locations in Waco and Bryan and at pioneersboys.com.
Dr. Kent Petty wants you to be the highest performance man you want to be. Are you sluggish, lack energy? Do you suffer from low sex drive? Petty Clinic Low T offers discounted comprehensive lab work to check on your various levels that can make a difference. It's not only time for you to be the man you want to be with higher energy and stamina and improved sex drive, but also the healthiest and high performance man. Screening for cardiac heart disease risk, EKG, cholesterol panel, blood pressure monitoring, testosterone or growth hormone deficiency, male infertility, hepatitis C, and prostate cancer screening. Petty Clinic Low T offers replacement therapy for testosterone or growth hormones, weight management therapy, and nutritional advice. It's not only time for you to be the man you want to be with higher energy, stamina, and improved sex drive, but the healthiest and highest performance man. PettyClinicLowT.com, PettyClinicLowT.com on Old Hewitt Road, just off Highway 84 in Woodward. PettyClinicLowT.com.
This is SicEm365 Radio.
Go ahead and make it. And then we got the Wednesday walkthrough.
The 5 o'clock hour is sponsored by Edward Jones Investments with financial advisor Brad Wilson. Investing is time and experience back to you and your money during today's changing times. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Here's David Smoke, Paul Catalina, and Craig Smoke.
Harold Varner III has tied Justin Rose at the top of the leaderboard at the Colonial, the Charles Schwab Challenge at 7 under par. There's a chunk, I mean a chunk of golfers who are going low today. Jordan Spieth recovered from an opening double bogey. He's now made 6 shots back, 4 under par with a couple of holes to play. Big boys on the course with Koepka and Fowler and Thomas and Spieth and McIlroy, and we're now joined by somebody right there in the smack middle of it, Art Strickland, our very favorite golf analyst and columnist, Art Strickland. Art, they've gone really, really low today, have they not?
Well, they have, and Smokey, anybody that watch golf, that can't be too flashy. I mean, so many good players out here, and I think you really depends on who's practice, you know, in their 3 months off, and who didn't really. I mean, play, practice, you know what I'm saying? So I think a guy like a Justin Rose has worked hard on his game. Jordan Spieth has worked very hard on his game. Really put in a lot of time. 3 months. On the other side, Kevin Miller told me he had only played 9 holes in 3 months and really hadn't thought about golf. Same for Ricky Fowler, you know, same for Rory, hasn't played a ton of golf. So I think you're seeing today how many people really looked at it and how many people took this as a little 3-month vacation that they didn't expect to have.
Art, we were just talking about how much bigger the field would be than normal. Do you see the guys kind of chomping at the bit, and how much better is this, would you say, percentage-wise, than normal as far as the big names that are there?
Oh, by far, this is the best tournament in Colonial history. The 75th year of, Colonial golf, and, you've got 16 of the top 20 players in the world playing. You've got an amazing staff up the field. Usually the field's at 120. This year it's at 144 to allow more players to get in. The 144 players that are in the field, 101 have already won PGA Tour events. That's a remarkable statistic. So great field, and that's what makes it such an interesting event. The greatest field in Colonial history that no one can watch. I mean, you had guys sneaking through the fence. You had guys with step ladders trying to look over the hedges. But really interesting that you've got a great field, better than they've ever had, but you can't go and see it. So makes for a fascinating day today.
Jimmy Walker started out, he was rough. He had a double bogey early on. I think he started on the front nine, but he closed with the birdie at 13, 16, and 18 to get back to even par. Tell us about the former Baylor All-American and his round.
Well, good players. One thing interesting about Jimmy Walker, and this shows you how creatures of habit. Jimmy Walker played with steel shafts in his clubs today. And you think, well, that's no big deal. He is the first PGA Tour player to play with steel shafts in all 14 of his clubs in 6 years. Most of the players now have gone to graphite. They can work the ball and feel like graphite gives them a little bit more feel. He went to all steel shafts. He said he did that when he was home at Booney, started hitting his own Titleist driver, said, I'm going to give it a shot. So first guy in 6 years to play all steel shafts and even par, but with a great finish. So, really interesting to see if he can do that for the weekend.
Who are you surprised that's not playing well, or would you even know because nobody's, been playing?
Yeah, Dustin Johnson didn't play very good today. And, I can't say I'm overly surprised by that. He saw Dustin play in the charity match, I think at Seminole. He looked very motivated. Ricky Fowler, which is, not overly surprising. He seems to struggle a lot. And as someone once told me, that is why true psychologists are multimillionaires on the PGA Tour, because there's so much of a mental game out here. And the fact that you can have all the talent in the world, like a Ricky Fowler, like a Dustin Johnson, and it just come together sometimes. Jordan Spieth is certainly that. Tremendous talent, but it's a mental game, and, the game, messes with your mind. I don't have much mind to mess with. It just messes with your mind. That's what you're saying. The guys that came out, Rico, Justin Ryan, went around 63, and I'm going to say something. I give a lot of credit to him for his round today, because people know he's one of the few black golfers on the PGA Tour, so the total focus of all the media attention. He did a Q&A with the commissioner last week, and the commissioner was here, and they did a moment of silence at 8:58 a.m. this morning. And so all that focus is on Harold Varner. He still performed birdie on the last hole, 63. And, it's hard to perform well when spotlight's on you, but congrats for Harold Varner for doing that today.
Art, are you walking around as you're talking to us?
No, sir.
Okay, because
I'm stationary.
Okay, yeah, we're losing you in and out a little bit, but that I just wanted to make sure I was scolding you if you were. I was trying to.
No. It's too hard to work around. I mean, even the squirrels are walking single file in this kind of weather.
So you mean to tell me that, of course, there's no fans, there's no gallery, there's no patrons, whatever you want to say, but there are some that have found a way to slip through the cracks to have a chance to watch some of these great golfers?
Well, when I got here this morning, and that's one of the stories I did for Golf Magazine and Golf.com, which will be up on the site shortly, is I kind of hung around outside the fence to kind of see what that was like. And I'm looking up the fence line, and I see this hitter places. And this guy is through the fence up against the chain link, and he's got sticker bushes on both sides of him. I don't even know how he got there. He had wedged his way in, and he said, I've been going to Colonial since 1988, and I'm not going to stop now. And they can come get me if they want to, but I'm watching Colonial, because that's what I do every year. And so, really understand the fact that there are guys that are in heaven. Fort Worth is the smallest city to host a PGA Tour event. So for people here in Fort Worth, they really consider it one of their own events as opposed to Dallas, where it's one of many events. This is really, one of the number one sports attraction in Fort Worth all year long. So people are going to look for any way they can to watch the golf today and this weekend.
Art Strickland, golf columnist with us on SicEm365, Baylor graduate, covering the tournament. It's the first tournament the PGA has played. First rounds, official rounds, since they shut down the Players' Championship back in March at Ponte Vedra. This has got – hey, Brooks Koepka is always a dude that's loaded with guns. Did he get bigger or did he gain 5 pounds? One or the other. He looks bigger than he's ever looked before.
He's really working. Also, another guy that has become ginormous, as my kids would say, is Bryson DeChambeau.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. You look at Bryson, and he won the U.S. Amateur when he played at SMU, and you look at him now, and you're thinking, wow. So how did you spend your 3 months? Did you spend it at the pool? Did you spend it? Rory was joking in the media room yesterday. He said, this is as good as my Northern Irish tan has ever been, because I spent a lot of time at the pool over the last 3 months.
I bet they have, yeah.
And so, Bryson really worked out a lot. He's working at Dallas National. He spent a lot of time at the new practice facility here at Dallas National. And then, obviously a lot of those guys, Brooks Koepka worked out a lot. Going forward, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But you saw the cream rising to the top, and I think that the fence watchers are going to grow over the weekend, because I think you're going to have a great weekend charge, and I think you're going to see a lot of familiar names for the weekend charge. So come up here and join us on the fence there, Smokey.
All right, Art Strickland with us, golf columnist. He's live at the Colonial, the Charles Schwab Challenge. It was great. That's one of my go-to channels, the Golf Channel, whether it's a major or not. But it was nice. It's like we were thirsty when we saw that what was maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, when they had McIlroy and Dustin Johnson and whoever else, and then I even got thirsty watching the Mickelson, Tiger, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning, just because again it was live.
Yeah,
it was entertaining, and then of course, it's just what we miss.
It's weird though, right? When you think about, I think everybody took for granted what we had previously, but you could take any day of the week and you could just pop on the TV and there's some type of live sporting event that's on, whether it be the Big Four or whether it be something more fringe. There's always something on. And the fact that we've had little to nothing, and there for a little while it was just simply the KBO, and then eventually UFC, and now golf, and there's others that are starting to ramp up as well. The NHL's outlined kind of where they are at this point. They're determined, it looks like, to come back. I did see in regards to baseball, a player or two, I'm trying to think who it was. Maybe Josh Donaldson had tweeted out just like a smiley face or something, which had everybody thinking that, oh my gosh, does that mean baseball's coming back? So, there's people that are hungry for it. I tell you who's probably the most down of anybody are the sports gamblers out there, because they've had to go different routes, probably betting on Korean baseball and UFC fights that they normally wouldn't. But you talk about a crowd that's used to having live sports at all times and have had little to none of that now for 3 months. This has been a journey, but it's slowly coming back.
The leaderboard, again, I'm not going to go through much, but Justin Rose, Harold Varner III, both at 7 under, both done. Jonathan Vargas and Answer Morikawa are at 6 under, and a group at 5 under includes Bryson DeChambeau, Gary Woodland, who won, what was it, the U.S. Open last year. Also, Tom Lehman is interesting. He's kind of a senior golfer now, 5 under par. He played well. Justin Thomas still with a couple of holes to play. Schauffele, they're both 5 under. And I mentioned that Jordan Spieth, who really needs to get off to a nice start now that they've resumed after he has struggled for a couple of years, was a double bogey on number 1 and has bounced back. He's 4 under with a couple of holes left to play. Koepka, McIlroy are in like 2 under par with a couple of holes. Some of them are in the same group as well. John Rahm, everything's fine. John Rahm early on throws down an F-bomb. Jim Nantz, yeah. Jim Nantz, and well, it's like it's back. And Nance had to do the old apology. John Rahm's fired up. He's angry. He's perfect. He's full throttle.
I would like to see John Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau in the same group, and like maybe just follow behind them with like a little bit of like a whistling
I wonder if
sound.
those two get along. Because DeChambeau can be a little edgy. Rahm is he's just a firecracker. Yeah. All right, so that's that. Thanks to Art Strickland. I think a little bit of a disconnection at times. It sounded like he was walking around, and at the same time,
sounded kind of like the phone was moving around his mouth or something.
I think so. I'll have to I'll have to get on him about that.
Art some AirPods.
Art is one of the Art. We call analysts, we get them, we line them up. We have weekly guests, like some of the ones we have. But Art's one of those that schedules himself. Hey, David, I'm going to be on it with you at 5 on Thursday. It was great because it's the first tournament of anything since when they shut down the Players' Championship.
By the way, my mom is a season ticket holder at Baylor football now, and Art sits next to her.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Does she put in earplugs? He is. I'm telling you, I played golf with Art about 3 weeks ago. Really had had fun. He and I went out, played 18 holes, and enjoyed it. All right.
So what's next week in the PGA? Is the Nelson next week? Are they doing that one, or because they were moving it off the course that they'd moved it to? It was on a fantastically beautiful course, and then they moved it to a new one that no one liked.
The Nelson, no.
I will have that in just a second.
No.
If it'll pop up here, tournament dates. Okay, where are we? June 11th.
The U.S. Open would have been next week, but obviously that's changed.
Yeah. So the RBC Heritage is next week.
That's in South Carolina, right?
Yeah, at Hilton Head.
And that is normally, and this is just off the top of my head, could be completely wrong, that's normally sometime after. I thought the Heritage was sometime after Augusta National in the past, but again, I don't know. That could be
the Heritage is June 18th through the 21st. It is next week in South Carolina.
Yep, that's a beautiful course.
Or I guess, start next week.
That's a beautiful. The first major.
Sucky, I'm surprised you have not gone on a vacation in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
I actually was at Myrtle Beach. Was it Myrtle Beach where I went on a golf trip with Eric and a bunch of guys when I was in Tyler? We went on a golf trip, flew in, played golf that afternoon. Gorgeous course. And we had like 5 consecutive days, and we're going to play two rounds a day like I do when I go to Hot Springs. And the next day, we're wrapping up the first round that morning. We're on like 16 or 15. It starts to drizzle. Here comes torrential rain. We never played again. It just hovered over.
No, I went to Hilton Head
where we were.
I went to Hilton Head when I was in high school, and that was when I was playing golf actually quite a bit. And we played. I mean, it was one of those things that you pretty much play golf in the morning and go to the beach at night or in the afternoon. That's all day.
All right, when we come back, 5:18 is the time. I want to go over a couple of different things on all of who has been added in the offseason from the Cowboys. Which of these names, which of the new names do you think will have the biggest impact? Like, give us your top 3. Andy Dalton, Aldon Smith, Gerald McCoy, Clinton Dix, Don Terry Poe, Greg Zuerlein, Maurice Kennedy, Cameron Irving, Blake Bell, Darryl Worley. You give us your top 3, 254-339-1122 in the Riverbend Liquor and Wine text line. Also, the number available, 254-339-1122. Be a part of the show. Be a part of this segment. Win a free gift certificate to Cottonwood Creek Golf Course. Speaking of the tournaments back underway in the PGA Tour. Of those additions, give me your top 3 in order, will have an impact with the Cowboys in 2020. This is SicEm365 Radio. Pickup Outfitters, all of the heat that's now pounding down on your vehicle. Well, if you have something that's a sedan or an SUV and it's all covered up, but if you have a pickup truck and the bed of your pickup truck is not covered, imagine whatever you put back there, even if it's sometimes just a bag of trash you're going to throw in the dumpster somewhere wherever you go. Imagine the heat that's pounding down, all of the elements, whether it's sand or dust, whether it's the wind or the rain, or just, again, the humidity and the heat. And that's why Pickup Outfitters has the best in bed covers to help you with security, locking bed covers. Almost every truck bed is secure if you keep a solid bed cover. Your tailgate locked. You cannot open the bed cover if your tailgate is locked. Sheltered from the elements, privacy, and extra storage space. One-piece lids, hard and soft roll-up, removable paint to match, hard folding, retractable bed covers. Pickup Outfitters at 220 Lake Air Drive, createacommotion.com.
It takes time to reach goals. It's a truth that applies to more than sports. It goes for your financial goals as well. You work hard for your money, and you deserve an investment strategy that lines up with your game plan. And Tom Albers, your Edward Jones financial advisor, can help. If your financial investments aren't putting forth the effort you desire, stop by today for a financial review. Tom Albers, 4301 Lakeshore Drive, 254-776-7605. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Do you or your kids get nervous about going to the dentist? Stonewood Dental, Dr. Steve Childress, he can help.
I've spent a career taking care of patients who as children had bad experiences, and now they're adults that hate going to the dentist. If I get a kid at 3 years old and they come every 6 months, it's a happy experience. It's normal for them. Now they have an accident at 6 or 7 or 8 at school. Now they have a broken tooth or a trauma, and they have to come here. They're used to lights, they're used to water in their mouth, they're used to experience, they already trust us. It's amazing what we can do with that kid without it being a negative thing. But if I see a 6 or 7 or 8 year old that's never been to the dentist, and now they have a trauma or an unfortunate unexpected toothache, it's harder to do that for that kid and it not be somewhat of a negative experience. So bottom line is I try to teach kids and adults and teenagers and everybody the way I'd want my family treated, which is where it's a necessary part of life. You just take care of it. It doesn't have to be that big a deal.
Learn more, stonewood-dental.com.
Texas board-certified personal injury trial lawyer and Baylor alum David Willis and Baylor alum Parker Willis are ready to help if you or a loved one has been wrongfully injured in an auto accident, SUV rollover, industrial accident, 18-wheeler crash, or were seriously injured by a defective product or recalled drug. Call them for a confidential and free case consultation at 1-800-GOT-HURT or visit them at texastriallawyer.com, principal office in Houston, Texas.
Drive forward at Allen Samuels. Get big summer values on new Jeeps, the vehicles of summer. Get 0% for 72 and no payments for 90 days on select Jeeps, plus new Jeep Gladiators featuring employee pricing for all. New Ram Lone Star Crew Cab 4x4s feature up to $10,250 in values. Shop safely in person or shop and buy online at AllenSamuelsDCJ.com. Your friend in the car business, Allen Samuels.
Ask for details.
Our communities are facing unprecedented times. At Boozer's Jewelers, we care about you and your family. If you're like me, your home has unwanted or unused jewelry lying around. They can have value, and that means we can turn that jewelry into instant cash. This is a great way to get the most value from your unwanted jewelry. At Boozer's Jewelers, we buy all kinds of unused jewelry. So give us a call and let us give you peace of mind and cash for your unwanted or unused jewelry.
At Ideal MRI, we feel blessed to be a part of the Waco community. We're a small family business right here in Central Texas, and our goal is to bring down the cost of healthcare while maintaining high quality. At times like this, the cost of healthcare has never been more important, and unfortunately, significant illnesses and injuries still occur. That's why Ideal MRI is open and here to serve you through the difficult time. We offer premium MRIs just like a hospital with state-of-the-art technology and specialists, but you'll pay less. sometimes thousands of dollars less, whether you're using insurance or not. At Ideal MRI, we accept most insurance, and there are no hidden costs. Even offering financing if that's needed, everything included in the price, and you'll not get something as a surprise in the mail later on. If you need an MRI, ask your doctor about Ideal MRI. They'll know. You can schedule an appointment safely from home online in minutes at idealmri.com or give us a call, 833-IDEAL-MRI, idealmri.com.
This is SicEm365 Radio. Log on to the Willis Law Firm chat room on SicEm365.com.
All right, here we go with the Cowboys offseason. I mentioned some of the pickups, some of the free agent pickups, but also include the rookies as well, those who were drafted. So Andy Dalton, Aldon Smith, Gerald McCoy, HaHa Clinton Dix, Don Terry Poe, Greg Zuerlein, who I like that pickup, Kennedy from the Jets, Cameron Irving, Blake Bell, Darryl Worley. Then CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, Neville Gallimore, Bradley Anai from Utah, and Reggie Robinson, Tulsa. I know there's a couple of others, a center, whatever, a quarterback. In order, 254-339-1122. Leon said Aldon Smith, Clinton Dix, Zuerlein, and CD, and it's hard to argue with that, although, again, we don't know how much is left in the tank for Aldon Smith.
I will say Zuerlein, because if the Cowboys had a kicker last year, they're in the playoffs. They lost all the close games because they couldn't make kicks. CeeDee Lamb, Gerald McCoy, and Don Terry Poe.
So both defensive tackles.
Yeah, I think that's going to be big.
Craig, you got any of yours?
Give me a second.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. If someone was to say Andy Dalton.
That's fair.
Because it's not that you're as good as your backup quarterback, but you're as good as your backup quarterback. Dak has stayed completely injury-free. Has he not?
Yes, but he's
a big dude.
There were times where he's banged up.
2 years ago, he took a beating. And I thought, that's the first time I've seen him look like he was tossed around at times. His body was just so beat up.
So last year he was beat up at the end of the year, and there were times he was in there hurt, and you could confidently take him out now and not have to run the risk of getting him hurt worse.
Well, McLennan College, by the way, Connor Phillips has been drafted. I just noticed that by the Seattle Mariners, the 64th pick overall. This isn't a part of that extended, I think, second round.
Sandwich pick's what they call him. Yeah.
So Connor Phillips, drafted McLennan County pitcher by the Seattle Mariners, the 64th overall pick in the draft. You guys talk about the Cowboys for a second.
Yeah. Craig, I do I'm going to stick with Zuerlein as my biggest one, is that they just make kicks, and not even at the end of the game. If they make kicks in the middle of the damn game, they're going to win a lot more.
Yeah, no, I think kicker goes undervalued. So Zuerlein certainly should be up there. Clinton Dix, it's pretty good. I mean, it's solid, it's fine. But it's not like
he's a placeholder.
Yeah, and there's a reason why it's a one-year deal. There's a reason why he's bounced around. He's been the Bears, the Redskins the last couple of years, so he's kind of bounced around a little bit. Gerald McCoy is a great name, and I watched him all the time at Oklahoma, but maybe this is what re-energizes him a little bit. He's not turned into a bad player, but he's certainly gone down a little bit from when he was looking like he was going to be an all-pro or a Pro Bowl type of guy for many years. But I think, being closer to home, that sometimes gets used far too often as though it's magically going to make a guy, a better player than he was. But I think there is something in some cases to be said for that, because with the Buccaneers, it obviously ended a little bit toxic. The Panthers was a very short situation that obviously wasn't that great. And now it seems like, he's got a place to contribute on this team, and they're counting on him to contribute. So I think Gerald McCoy should definitely be up there. CeeDee Lamb is going to be really interesting to see what kind of numbers he hauls in, because of the fact that he is a default number 3 wide receiver to begin things. I think it'd be really interesting that he and Gallup could really push each other for that number 2 spot over the course of the season. But Dalton is another good one. Aldon Smith, question mark, Darryl Worley, whatever. So I don't really have quite an order, but I guess I would go Zierlein, McCoy, and I'm having to take into account their draft picks as well. CeeDee Lamb, and let's see here, Andy Dalton. I'll go with that kind of order as far as impact guys.
I just think Andy Dalton gives you the confidence to be able to let Dak be banged up for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Let him be banged up for a second. He couldn't do that before. You've got to let him, recover and be hurt. And that knee he was dealing with last year, he had a thumb a couple years ago where, man, I saw it after the game. I mean, it was swollen up. And they won the game, but, if you have Andy Dalton, you don't have to say, hey, rush and get back in there. You can say, go to the locker room, get yourself taped up, and deal with it.
So Trayvon Diggs will be another guy that I should have mentioned that would be in that mix as well. Gallimore from Oklahoma. I don't know. I feel like those Oklahoma defensive linemen can go one of two ways, just like any other player, but certainly those guys I feel like they've been more missed than hit as far as being big-time contributors.
Well, they lost out on Tapper. I mean, he was just a guy who was never healthy. But with Gallimore, the reason I didn't put he's a third-round pick, and they signed two guys that play his position. Mm-hmm. So he's not going to have to contribute very much early on, which is better than Tristan Hill. Plus, they already have Antoine Woods, who's played pretty well for them. He's not a guy who's a world beater or anything, but he's a steady player. You've got Tyrone Crawford, who's got position flex between end and tackle. They're going to have a lot more three-man front looks, which means that Gerald McCoy will be one of those three guys with Dontari Poe, who'll be on the nose. So, it's gonna be different, and they're going to flex out a lot of different things on defense. So I don't want to say Neville Gallimore's going to contribute a lot. I hope he does. I hope it's one of those things where they have a defensive line rotation that just wears you out. I don't really see that happening with the Cowboys on defense this year, but I do think Gerald McCoy makes a big contribution just because they need a guy with his experience and his leadership to bridge the gap to these young guys. And that's what he's there for.
Yeah, no, he's definitely somebody that can provide that bridge, so to speak. And, he's still got some years left in him. He's not a guy that's, impending retirement by any means. That's why they signed him to a 3-year deal. So, yeah, McCoy interests me. Blake Bell will catch a touchdown or two at some point this season, but I don't expect him to be a major factor. But, yeah, adding a kicker, they needed to do that. Adding a guy like Gerald McCoy, they needed to do that. I think a lot of the others outside of Andy Dalton are kind of let's wait and see how much they actually end up contributing. But certainly some guys to be excited about in this draft class, with CeeDee Lamb obviously being the headliner there and also bringing in a corner like Diggs.
So Connor Phillips drafted. Yeah, I brought up Andy Dalton because that's one of the names that most people may not say that. They're like, But, again, we've seen teams be derailed if they've had quarterbacks go down, and that he can then help perhaps be not just the insurance policy, but somebody that can be more than just a guy that has to come in for a game or two or longer. If Dak goes down in week 4, that doesn't mean you're going to be a playoff team, but with Andy Dalton, with all around him, you have a much better chance than if it's Cooper Rush or the kid that came in from James Madison.
DiNucci.
Or whoever it might be. Yeah.
And I'm glad the Cowboys finally did something at backup quarterback. So, they have it for so long. And look, they keep lucking into quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Or the last two. An undrafted guy and a 4th-round pick that was their third choice of backups to draft for Tony Romo.
You can say it was great scouting, but no, there was a lot of luck involved in both of those.
Yeah, great scouting and luck have to go hand in hand when you get somebody. Luck also is just the fact that Dak Prescott was there and somebody, like Sean Payton didn't grab him.
Nobody did. Nobody did for multiple rounds. Nobody touched Dak, and they had the opportunity to. So it's not like he was a high priority for anybody, and they just got into a situation where, like, hey, we need somebody. Here's the best guy available, and just so turned out that Romo was on his last legs, and Dak was ready, and I think Dak has already risen high above what his original expectations were. Certainly, I don't think anybody when he was drafted had him pegged as eventually signing a $100 million type of a deal just a few years later, but that's certainly what's going to end up happening here soon.
All right, so yes, Leon, by the way, what the hell is taking so long to sign Dak? He doesn't have, there's no rush here.
Well, I think
there's no rush.
If you put it in perspective of what the Cowboys normally
do. And Leon is not a big Dak guy.
Yeah, no. But you just have to put it in perspective of how the Cowboys normally do this. DeMarcus Lawrence and Amari Cooper were a little bit outliers. Amari Cooper, they kind of had a deadline on in that they needed to make a decision and sign somebody who was going to step up and sign a contract. Dak was going to take longer to do that. But normally with the Cowboys, if the deadline is July 15th, then they'll start having the real conversation on July the 12th. And then they'll sign him on July the 14th.
Yeah.
I've said it before. I think this is a non-issue. I really do. I don't think that there is any true, real fear of Dak, not being the Cowboys quarterback for the next few years. I just don't think that there's really.
I agree.
You never say never. So there is, to me, a 0.001 chance that it doesn't happen the way that I believe it's going to happen. I mean, just how often do people let starting quarterbacks go onto the free agent market? Never. Hardly never. Maybe like an instance here and there, but really never. And so a guy in his mid-20s like him, are you kidding me? That's not going to happen. So, a lot of that, and this is what kind of drives me nuts about the media business sometimes, is because there's so much 24/7 coverage and there's so many shows now. And, I think in some ways, and I hate to say this, I really do, but I think the pandemic kind of, in a way, needed to kind of clear some things out as far as the media goes, as far as just, companies signing hundreds of people at a time just to churn. There's not that much information out there. There's not that many interesting articles that can be written about what's going on. So the media business really just like inflated in a giant manner. But, you need stuff to talk about. And the easy thing to talk about is something like, Jerry,
throw up something
Cowboys
about
quarterback.
LeBron, throw up something about the Cowboys, throw up something, what? Yeah.
On LeBron, I'm an MJ guy, so I'll always be an MJ guy. Now, if LeBron were to win like 7 titles, and I would just have to default, go, okay, he's got more rings. I have no argument remaining whatsoever. But until he does that, then I'm going to stand with MJ until I can. But definitely, it's not a dismissal or disrespect in any way towards the greatest basketball player of this generation, clearly, LeBron James. But I'll tell you the reason why I don't want to say I don't like LeBron, but the reason why I don't like LeBron as much as I should or could is because of the media coverage. That's why. I get so sick of hearing about him all the time that it's just like, enough already.
Well, the thing I did enjoy about, and the Last Dance highlighted this, is Michael Jordan was not our like morality police like LeBron, or like, what is Michael Jordan? They just, and he made a point not to be.
And you know what? I think Michael Jordan, even if Twitter was around, wouldn't be on there like these guys today are. I don't think he would even maybe have an account. He probably would, that somebody in like marketing said, hey, here's your account. He wouldn't know the password. He wouldn't,
There would just be pictures of him drinking videos of him drinking Gatorade and working out.
Nike stuff and things like that. And, somebody from his foundation would retweet something on occasion. But, yeah, he was just so not about the spotlight. The spotlight just came to him, whereas the spotlight does go to LeBron and others, but he also loves the spotlight. And I can understand that, but it's the media coverage of him. And, it's like Zion's going to approach that soon for me as well. The NBA 2K, PS5 is coming out soon, the PlayStation 5. And I don't know what the price tag is going to be, but probably going to mean that I'm not buying it for a really long time. I'm good with my PS4 right now. But they dropped the new NBA 2K or whatever, and Zion's the cover boy, and the graphics look great and all of that, but it's just like we've, again, been inundated with Zion. And it's just, you got to take a break, or at least I had to take a break from it every once in a while, because I end up turning on these guys just simply because I feel like I can't get away from them.
I turned on the TV today. It's maybe the 4th or 5th time I've had it on since mid-March.
That's weird.
And it's for a lot of different reasons. There's certain things that I'm doing that are trying to keep my mind fresh. There are certain things that I'm doing that are related to projects to get ready for once if we do have football. And there's always the constant, and I'm not sitting there putting anything on it's like looking for that next guest or looking for the next sponsor. And I just got an email from a new one. And it's gotten more important. I've got a puzzle going.
A puzzle? Really?
Nebraska Memorial Stadium.
I wouldn't.
It is going to be impossible. And I don't. I'm telling you right now, it is like at the top, it's the blue sky, and then. But can you imagine that place is all nothing but red, and it's a 1,000-piece puzzle. I have probably been sitting on this table for about 2-3 days. I've connected maybe 8 pieces.
You actually, I think it was for my birthday, like a few months ago.
I did.
But got me a Game of Thrones puzzle. Now, Paul, I have not had a puzzle in front of me in years, like literally years. I have not sat down with a puzzle in front of me of any kind. And I don't have kids, so I, have no reason to really have been around puzzles all that much unless I just liked them. But it's not a thought of mine with everything else that we have at our disposal. So I dumped the box thinking, you know what, this will be a good little break, because I'm like you. Like, I don't want to just sit there and watch TV all the time. I was so overwhelmed by how tiny these pieces were and how many pieces there were. And I just started to kind of slowly separate them by color to get a better idea. But that's going to be a journey. And now in our instant satisfaction or gratification society, we get the immediate results. Like, hey, it's right now. So to sit down and have to wade through a 1,000-piece puzzle is just like such a departure from what we kind of have available.
Well, you guys see every day the project that I'm undertaking is
it's amazing.
Hundreds of thousands of baseball cards.
I would have spent 8 nights in a row all night doing that, because I get it.
Well, hey,
the baseball card.
If you want to come by,
I might.
I've got some to tear through. So
I will tell you too. I wanted to ask you. You're not, and I mean this with all due respect to my lovely Uncle Robert. You're not turning into Robert where you're like not even going to have a TV here.
No. It's not that. It's just not that. It's just.
Does he just wander the earth?
No, he's just very different, and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah,
he just doesn't care about TV.
He's got more important things in life, and I think that one of the things, it was very close. There's a very close decision I made on March the 18th when I looked up and I was like, okay, what are we going to do next? What am I going to do next? What are we? And I contacted cable. I said, cut it all. I need the internet. That's all I need. We were also starting with no sports, and then all of a sudden, I knew I needed the internet. I was like, cut it all, because I'm looking at, okay, how am I going to be financially smart here?
Right.
Even though I was in great shape, but
I've cut a bunch of subs.
I didn't do that. I've kept that, but in the end, I really have realized how I have maintained my life as a sportscaster, sports broadcaster, whatever you want to call me, a lot of things as well, and the lack of sports has not crushed me. Now, I think what will happen is when we start to see it again, like today, the Colonial and the Charles Schwab Challenge, I think what I'll do is I'll jump right back into it when it starts to happen. But I have not had a day where I've been like, oh, my God.
No,
I know you've talked about baseball.
Yeah, baseball I miss just because baseball relaxes me. Like, it relaxes me. During the regular season, it relaxes me. Now, in the Red Sox are in the postseason.
They're not going to be, so you don't have to worry about it.
But yeah, so then I can.
They're done.
But I mean, I can watch a baseball game. And part of the reason I got the MLB package on DirecTV when I did was because I knew it was the last couple years of Vince Scully, and I wanted to listen to as much Vince Scully as I could before we couldn't listen to him anymore. And you want to talk about a nice Sunday afternoon is you put on Vince Scully doing baseball, and it was just so great. I know. And so there's lots of announcers like that. I love listening to Eric Nadel. I mean, now I can just listen to the radio for that, but there are guys I like to listen to. Some just so good. I'll watch the Padres and the Reds just because it's a good announcer, it's a good game, and I'll turn it on. So that's more of just it's relaxing to me, and it's not but that's why I miss it, is just because it's nice.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I miss having the Rangers on. I wouldn't watch them, religiously every pitch, all 162 games, because, I mean, so few people actually do that.
I also miss baseball because, as you know, when I go on vacation in the summertime, I like to go to parks I haven't been to. Well, that's out this year.
Where were you going this year? Where are you thinking?
Philadelphia. I haven't been to that park. So Philadelphia and maybe Baltimore. So I was going to knock those two out. But, they're not
We went to
anywhere.
the Dodgers. What was it?
Yeah, when we were at the station in Tyler.
Eric and I went to the Dodgers game when we went out to Oxnard, the second wave at training camp.
I wasn't at the station in Tyler. When you were at a station in Tyler, so many, many years ago, and your producer, who's now out in Lubbock, the three of us during Cowboys training camp drove down to L.A. and went to Dodger Stadium, and then I think it was like the next year we went to Angel Stadium. And that was what I remember about both those California's got beautiful weather, but it gets brutal hot like it is right now here in Texas.
Yeah.
And those stadiums, man, it just shines on you. And I just remember it being really hot, but it was very cool to see Dodger Stadium, and it was cool to see the Angels Stadium as well.
Yeah, I went. We did all Southern California. This has been 10 years ago now, and I love Dodger Stadium, Angel Stadium. I could take or leave.
It was fine. Yeah.
Petco Park in San Diego is great. I would go back there anytime. The one thing I will always remember about the Dodgers game I went to was that Anson Williams, who played Potsy on Happy Days, sang the national anthem. And I remember when I walked in and it said singing the national anthem was Anson Williams, and I was like, Potsy singing the national anthem? That's not going to be good. Oh my gosh, he killed it.
Oh, really?
It was unreal.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Dude can sing.
Yeah, I like going to ballparks. It's at some point, if they get baseball season going, the Rangers can actually open their park.
Yeah, and
that's
I have
just sitting there.
I have that whole map, that it's got the push pins in it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've got to. I mean, I don't have to move the pin, but I have to go to the park so it's accurate.
Right. Yeah.
All right, 5:44 is the time. The baseball draft continues. We mentioned that MCC pitcher Connor Phillips was drafted. That was in that round 2 B spot, the 64th overall pick in the draft. Junior college pitcher under Mitch Thompson, 6'2", 190. Approximate pick value is just over $1 million.
And I was wondering about this last night, and the Astros are about to pick at number 72 overall. I believe this is their first pick. And also just saw another Dallas Baptist player went off the board, shortstop Jimmy Glavenke to the Giants at 68th overall. But I'll have the Astros pick here in just a second. I was wondering, too, especially with the Red Sox pick last night that had everybody befuddled of, for these guys who had the decision on whether to go to college from high school or go straight to the pros, does the pandemic come in play and just seeing kind of how the economy is and all that? Because I would think that, if you feel like you can bump yourself up, then it's just the logical choice is, I'm going to go to college and play, for a little while and then boost my stock. But, just with what's going on with our economy and all that, how much harder is $1 million to pass down versus if things were more normal? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you're right. And even if there's not going to be minor league baseball, you're getting drafted into these organizations.
This is money.
And if you're not going to play college ball until next spring,
right?
You're at least this is money in hand. You're exactly right. That'll be interesting. We have one more break to take, Paul. 5:46.
Update you on the Astros.
Okay.
They just selected Alex Santos, Mount St. Michael Academy pitcher, a right-hander out of the state of New York.
Alex Santos, I wish I had a little bit of a bio on him. I do. In fact, I just found one.
Alex Santos II.
He is, no
oh my
bio.
Gosh, he was born the year I graduated high school. Oh, man. Oh, geez.
No stats, but says he's very good at banging trash cans. When we come back, we close it out on this 49th edition of SicEm 365 Radio.
Riverbend Liquor and Wine has their easy-to-access drive-thru open and convenient and clean in-store location on the corner of Lakeshore Drive and North 19th Street in Waco. Riverbend Liquor has the best and most extensive variety of craft beer selections in Waco and Balcones whiskey, including single malt, hot still, baby blue, French oak, rye, and brimstone. Riverbend Liquor and Wine, family-owned and operated, and a hidden gem in Waco on Lakeshore Drive and 19th Street. And find out more on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, this is Bryce Petty, former starting quarterback and two-time Big 12 champion. And I know firsthand the importance of being in top shape both on and off the field. So listen up, men. If you're feeling beat down day in and day out and looking for that high-performance edge that separates the men from the boys, then look no further than the Petty Clinic Low T in Waco. Petty Clinic is a comprehensive men's healthcare clinic with an atmosphere catering to men. Board-certified Dr. Kent Petty has a special interest in offering the highest quality medical care to men of all ages. Some of the services offered include screening and treatment for low testosterone or thyroid, infertility, high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, sleep apnea, while offering comprehensive wellness exams and complete men's health lab panels. High performance men, remember, it's not just a Petty thing. This is Bryce Petty, encouraging you to reach out and Google search Petty Clinic Low T or go to pettycliniclowt.com and get your complimentary lab screening today.
Let
Let Camille Johnson Realtors guide you seamlessly through the process of buying your dream home or selling your current one. Commercial, farm and ranch, or residential, Camille Johnson Realtors can smoothly and successfully lead you through any transaction with a team of 24 experienced agents who are excited about serving you. Camille Johnson Realtors services the entire greater Waco area. If you're in the market to buy or sell, contact Camille Johnson Realtors, 104 Midway Center in Woodway, or find them online at www.camillejohnson.com. Camille Johnson Realtors, elegant, charming, warm. Welcome home.
In great times or tough times, you always feel better working with someone who's there for you. When it comes to great banking, people here count on the First National Bank of Central Texas, here to help you, your family, and your business. Personal banking via phone, desktop, tablet, and drive-through. And business banking tailored for all situations, including yours. Amazing tomorrows from the First National Bank of Central Texas. Familiar faces making local decisions. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Time to fire up the grill, heat up the oven, or get that deep fryer going to enjoy the top quality products at Waco Custom Marketplace. And order 30-pound bags of live crawfish by noon on Thursday and pick up on Friday to enjoy the weekend. Live crawfish available right now. And Waco Custom Marketplace doors are open for business Monday through Friday from 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5. And crawfish boil boxes available as well. Make your order for live crawfish by noon on Thursday. Pick up on Friday for the weekend. Waco Custom Marketplace, your home for fresh kolaches, cinnamon rolls, and baked bread daily. Butcher shop to cut your steaks the way you want. Fresh seafood, summer sausage, boudin, and house-cured and smoked bacon. Spices, seasonings, soup mixes, charcoal, and lighter fluid. Waco Custom Marketplace, doors open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday 10 to 5, 425 Lake Air Drive or WacoCustomMarketplace.com.
This is SicEm365 Radio. The SicEm365 Radio app is sponsored by Alan Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Waco, your friend in the car business at Loop 340 and east of 84. Come by. Let's be friends.
So the Major League Baseball draft that normally lasts forever is 5 rounds with a couple of those in-between round type bonus slot. What do they call them?
Sandwich picks.
Sandwich picks. So that's going on today. The Colonial wrapping up, the Charles Schwab Challenge. That's wrapping up. So that's sports. You know, that's the NFL draft. It was a big deal because for a couple, 2 or 3 days, the draft was live. It was new. We didn't know it, although we kind of knew some of the picks. So that's sports. That was in April. That was about a month after the shutdown, a little bit over a month after the shutdown. Since then, there was the Last Dance that they pushed up early. There was a couple of made-for-television golf events. There was nothing else. There were a couple of UFC cards.
Yeah, there'll be more coming
There was
up.
nothing else. There was absolutely nothing else. And now you have the baseball draft, although it's been completely cut down dramatically. You've had what is going on with the PGA Tour. And, you know,
they're going to have the TBT, basketball. I mean, that's not that's not really something that gets a lot of attention. I know there's going to be some Baylor involvement though, with some alums that'll play in that once again. So there's little things that are popping up, and obviously many are proceeding forward as though it's going to be as normal as it possibly can be. So really, just what we have to hope for is that there's not some just like huge rash in one sport of tons of guys getting infected and having to be quarantined, because that would shut things down pretty quickly. But I mean, pretty much everybody's back up and in the process of either being operational or getting operational. And, the NBA's still, getting the final details on how they're going to do this Orlando schedule. Apparently, I was reading that, they're going to start off with those 22 teams, but 14 are going to be eliminated within the first 2 months. And then 4 teams will remain after 67 days. But what was very interesting was the report earlier today that the reporters who are, going to be covering this thing apparently have to be within the little zoned area, the quarantined area that this is all going to take place. And if this is true, what I saw earlier today, then if a reporter were to choose to leave that quarantined area where all this will take place, they're not allowed back in. So That's really strange. I guess somebody compared it to like covering the Olympics and kind of being within that realm and not being able to really get outside of it. So, there's going to be a lot of people that are cooped up and not really cooped up, but are within this small kind of area.
Yeah, I mean they're at Disney World, so they'll have no shortage of variety of things to eat and do, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But even still,
that'll get old after about a month. I would think.
I'll just compare it to Smokey. How long were we in the Mall of America before that place lost its luster completely? Like you walk in, you're like, man, this is cool. It's a big mall, and then
see, I love visiting cities that I've never either been to or haven't been to in a while.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as the actual mall, like when we were there,
you get stir crazy.
Yeah, you get a little. Yeah,
plus it's Minneapolis and it's freezing.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere.
I've never been to Minneapolis, and you guys are lucky that you went when you did, because I don't know that I will ever go to Minneapolis based on what we've seen the last couple of weeks in that city in particular. But the third round of the MLB draft is underway now. Trey Cruz, shortstop out of Rice, was selected by the Detroit Tigers to kick off the third round. And I know we got to run here in a second, but Paul, I did want to ask you because I saw the headline and I heard you kind of talk about a little bit during the commercial break, but what is Alex Cora saying today?
Alex Cora, this is great stuff from Alex Cora. He came out and said that there have been things that have been very accurate that have been painted about him in the media, but